So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as a Black Yule Brenner. This is our second show, but we are live this time around. Our podcast earlier was not live, it was recorded. And so we are here to talk about a sister gone too soon after finding out that her man was allegedly, and I'm going to say that with all my chest, that happened to be sticking out, that he was allegedly on the down low. We're going to get into all aspects of that. And I'm going to also play a video from a very interesting perspective that I saw on TikTok. And so I want to have a conversation around that. I already see that someone in the comment section has a lot to say. Maybe I believe it is, will come up and say something about it. But anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community, to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Donovan for always sitting here. Also like to say a big giant hello and welcome and thank you to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, but you are participants, because we do share the link so you guys can come on and speak your mind, ask a question or whatever. I will say this: last Sunday was the first time in the history of this show that I've had to actively click somebody off of here while they were talking too much and being rude and disrespectful. I don't mind that people, have their opinion, whatever, but being rude over talking and all that, you're not going to do that here, because I would not come on your show and do that. So all I ask is that everybody is respectful. And as I always say too, you can kind of get a feel from when you're talking too long. You know what I mean? Like if you see a whole bunch of people on the panel, don't give us a monologue of everything that happened from 1901. Just set it, forget it, get up off of it, and then we can have a conversation about it. But anyway, I digress. Who's here? So Wise Owl, how are you doing? Like I said, you have a lot to say. Melanin 100, what's going on? Alex, how you doing? King of Sorrows, what's going on? And Shaniqua, Easy E, how you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Wow, that was a lot. What I want to say is welcome to the Demetra K Show. Yes, we are live again. Let's do a little house cleaning here at the bottom. If you want to donate and help move the show a little farther and a little faster and give decent motivation, there's all kinds of ways you can do it: PayPal, Venmo, all that other good stuff like that. Also, do us a favor. It's absolutely free. Hit that like button on your way in. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. This is a very, very interesting topic. I don't really know much about it because I operate in black and white, which is a little bit different. But Demetra will agree with a lot of stuff that I said in regards to it. While I'm thinking, why would he do that? What's going on? Whatever. So I'll have my opinion on it. However, you guys are the third co-host. Please come on up, give your opinions out there. But just remember this: Demetra's block game is very, very strong.
So anyway, hello, Black America. Jan Michael, what's going on with you? Jimmy, James, what's going on? Eunice, how you doing? Long time no see. All right. So apparently on August 16th of this year, Marcus Lofton of Grand Rapids, Michigan, took his wife out of here. And I want to say that for YouTube terms, she is no longer here with us. Sounds like they were married for 6 months. So in February, they were married, I guess. Sounds like they've been together for 2 years. And she found out some very disturbing information about him. So I want to actually play this video. Hello, Brother Samuel and Patrick. How are you? I'm going to play this video that I thought was a very interesting perspective on it. So let me find it. Hopefully it works, because y'all know how this thing been acting up lately. Let's see. Nope, not that one. What? I didn't even upload it. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna find it because I think it's very interesting. Donovan, take over for a second.
I could take over
for a second.
Yeah, for a second. All right, you guys. Hey, a lot of stuff going on in the news. Again, there's a lot of cleanup here in Southern California in regards to the storm. Still hot all over the nation. A lot of things that are happening in the as far as global warming and what's happened. We don't want to talk about the Donald Trump thing because the man's not going to be convicted. He is never going to go to jail, because there's an old saying: justice delayed is justice denied. This man, it's been over 3 years, and this man has not even seen a jail cell or handcuffs. So we're not even going to go into any of that. But let's just talk about this in regards. Let's just say, do some cleanup here. Hello, Patrick Hornsby. He's calling in. Samuel X, welcome back. Eunice Williams, hello. Jan Michael Nelson, hello. Black America, of course. Easy E, Shaniqua, welcome back. 'Cause I know you've been busy taking care of some personal things there. Fly Guy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Mal O Factor, what up? What's going on? Eunice says, I heard about this story that was wrong for her to outman, but on the same token, she was deserving of what he did to her. That's a good point there. Something to think about. To out him, yeah, she was wrong to out him. Yeah, exactly. Patty Brown, welcome, welcome, welcome. Fishing with Rick, welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys also do us a favor, share this on your platforms and get it out there, and that way more people can see it and join the discussion and maybe have an opinion about it. Only Pamela's Way is back. Welcome back, Sista. And Jimmy James says, I'm pro-Trump. Okay, and Jimmy James is coming to us from Nuremberg, Germany. So I would possibly say you're having a good time there. I think the Beer Fest is coming up October. Yeah, that's going to be coming up. Eunice says, I heard about this story that was wrong for her. Okay, yeah, she did it again. If Trump was to go to jail, then all of them folks need to go to jail. Yes, absolutely. And once again, Aunt Maxine is out there talking about her outrage against Trump, and she was outraged that Trump did this, and she's outraged that so-and-so did that, but yet she does absolutely nothing in regards to legislation and anything. It's all talk. It's all talk. Very, very bad. But a good thing I have to say today, I want to say congratulations to a good friend of mine. His name is Daryl Terrell. He was appointed to the city planner. Terrell's been here for over 30-something years. He's about a year or two older than me. And, you know, he gets in elections. He's very involved with stuff with the city. What the planning commission does is these are the guys that approve and zone areas of your city. So if there's a business that somebody wants to open a business in your city, they have to go in front of the planning commission first to get approval that gets accepted and all this other stuff. It's all kinds of stuff to be done. So he got accepted to that. It's a 4-year term. And again, I strongly recommend people. It's amazing how we as a people, we can tell you about the national election and who's running there, but we can't tell you who is on the planning commission. We can't tell you who our alderman or city council member is. We can't tell you any of that stuff. So, and Jerry Green will tell you, he knows Daryl. Daryl is a guy that's full of ideas. He's hardworking and stuff. And, perseverance, he finally got there, and maybe it'll make a difference. I mean, our city is built out full of warehouses now, but hey, any new apartments come up, any new things come up, I'm sure Daryl's gonna have some influence on it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, all of that. So hello to everybody. I'm sorry about that. I thought that I uploaded it, but I guess that I didn't. But I have it for you now. So I thought this explanation was kind of interesting. So let's check it out, shall we? Okay, here we go.
All right, so a little birdie texted me, DM me, and told me that Mr. Marcus was the man in the city, child. They had been together for 2 years, and they got married this March. And not even 3 months of marriage, there was a domestic violence call to the police saying that he done hit her. My question to this whole situation, after finding out that he was messing with men on this Facebook group page called Whose Man Is This? She said she wanted a divorce and she was selling the house. But at what point, ma'am, of the 2 years, did this person not show himself to be who he is today? Is this like a new person that you married after all of a sudden the 2 years of knowing him? Like, ma'am, this can't be the first time he put his hands on you. Are you guys marrying these guys too soon? Know who you marry.
Now listen, y'all stay focused. The message is what's important, right? People can be free to be them. All right. So Hello to everybody that came on. Okay, so as y'all heard, and I thought it was a very interesting point of view. Sounds like there was domestic violence in the past, and he asked a good question. Did you not know he was your new person? Like, and I'm paraphrasing, but was there some red flags? Did this just go over your head? Or anything like that? And I thought it was very interesting. I think y'all better go on that Facebook app. Whose man is this? Because it sounds like he was featured on that Facebook group. You know, he on the download, whatever. He's got a wife, and I believe she has 3 children. So I don't know if they were there together, but nevertheless, she had 3 children. She's no longer here. He admitted to doing that to her, to the police and everything like that. But this gentleman here, yeah, he raised a good point, and he also said, y'all marrying these people too soon. It sounds like they were together 2 years before they got married, or they were together total 2 years. I don't know. But he raised a lot of interesting points of view about it. But I'm going to give my opinion about it, and just as we go. But Donovan, did you render an opinion when I was looking for this video? Like, what's your ideology about all of this?
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with what the guy said. Again, I don't want to say it. What the guy said. It kind of mirrors what I was saying. I mean, you got people, they'll be together 5-7 years, and then they get married, and it doesn't last, 2 years. It's like, and then it seems to me nowadays, within the last 5 years, you're noticing people getting married that don't really know each other. They haven't even known each other that long. So I'd have to ask the question too, are they marrying these people and not really knowing who they're marrying? Is it more of a feeling, ooh, this guy makes me feel so, ooh, whatever it is. And they're not really knowing that this guy might be, Jeffrey Dahmer, behind the scenes or whatever. I just don't know. And then not to know that this man had, feelings of loving everybody. What's the new word? Wayne Brady is one of those things.
Pansexual.
Yeah, he's this man might be a pansexual, whatever. And if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. But I think having to find out after you get married, that's a shocking type situation. So I would agree with this man. People are getting married too early and not knowing who they're marrying in actuality. Now, how long should somebody date or whatever? That's up to the individuals, depending on what the situation is. But yeah, I agree with what the young man said.
So I put the link up for y'all to join the conversation. So let's kind of stick to this conversation. If you want to come up, and if I have not seen you on here before, please make sure that I see your face before I bring you up to the big screen, so I can make sure that there's no shenanigans involved here. I surely have a lot to say about this, but I'm gonna hold my tongue. Just to give everybody else an opportunity to say what they want to say. But I'm going to get into the comment section until I see somebody come up here. Nancy, how you doing? He says, can we send Richard Roth? Legislation needs something, and he gets the job done. Okay, so he's a senator in California.
Yeah, he used to be a general at March or 4th Air Force. Yeah.
Patty Brown, how you doing? He says, also her friend saw the Facebook post and told her about it. There's no excuse for, doing that to your wife. I totally agree. So, I don't know if she put it up. Sounds like maybe she did. I don't know, but somebody saw it in there and told her, which I think they should tell you. Like if I saw my homegirl's husband up in, some group like that, I would say, hey, there's something concerning going on. You might need to know about it, right? And Stacy, how you doing? You talking about some woo child. Easy, you crazy. What you laughing for? And Tito, how you doing? And Damon, see, stay focused. Yeah, Easy. He's got a point. And Pisces God, how are you doing? He says purr. Yeah, definitely. And Brother Don, how are you doing? Ja Tony, what's going on with you? Says evil folks just don't care. True. Eunice, you say in regards to the domestic violence, he did hit her before. She should not have married him, but she did. But he have a right to take it to. He said, I think he meant he didn't have a right to take it to the limit. She had a right to say what she wanted a divorce. Yeah. I think that's grounds for divorce, to find out that you're with somebody who ain't who they said they are, right? Rain, how are you doing? Shalom to you as well. Yeah, Eunice, especially sleeping with men. You're supposed to be sleeping with her. Black America, he says, I don't believe anything I don't believe anything. People like that say men like this talk like women. Women are wrong most of the time. Okay. Uh, Lady Blue, how you doing? Says, doesn't matter how long you're with a person, anything can happen. There are a lot of divorces after several years of marriage. You're right, Damon. You up in here cutting up, I see. And Stacy says, Billy Porter behind the scenes. And John Tony says, can't fathom a man bypassing sisters for men, mental illness. I ain't tripping. Yeah, people have preferences. Shirley, how you doing? Says our people are damaged and broken, and we as a people fail to realize it. Oh yeah, we got a lot of issues. Lady Blue says also, being in a DV situation is very complex. One can say what they would or would not do. It is very subjective. You're absolutely right. And let me skip down just a little bit. And y'all wilded. Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Rain says the guy he was involved with put the video on social media. See, wow. Brother Samuel says a sign of no courtship, feminine behavior in men being normalized and possible desperation to get married, a combination of which blinds you to red flags. Yep. Hey, Janelle, how are you doing? And Easy, you say, well, prison will be his new oasis. Yeah, he ain't gonna have to be on the down low up in there. You know, do what makes you happy. And Brina, how you doing? And Rain says, I knew Black America would have something to say. Lord have mercy. Lady Blue says many gay dudes and trans women motives are the same in exposing so-called straight men. Fly Guy, how you doing? That's very problematic. Now, I don't know what the motive for the guy he was allegedly, and I want to say that strongly, allegedly messing with to out him in that way. Maybe, you know, it's the same thing like with women who are scorned, like the side piece, right? You better leave your wife. You don't leave your wife, I'm going to tell on you and I'm going to expose you and all that other stuff. So it was probably the same thing. I don't know. I wasn't there, but maybe that's what it was. He was like, if you don't leave your wife, I'm telling. And, you know, he put him out there on Front Street.
But let me ask you this, Lady Bill. I don't disagree with your comment much, but the thing is, okay, you got a trans woman, right? And let's say I'm a straight man and I meet a trans woman, and I don't know it's a thing. I don't know it's a thing. Does that make me? I mean, you know, by exposing me, does that mean, you know, that I'm, you know what I mean? What if I didn't know? So how? I mean, it's kind of confusing in what you're saying. Many gay dudes and trans women motives are the same in exposing so-called straight men. So let's say I meet a trans woman, I didn't know it, and they expose me. What does that mean?
I think she's talking about in regards to, there's a lot of men who know they are with trans women. They just do, right? Listen, I ain't got a dog in the fight. I'm just saying a lot of men do know that they're trans women, and maybe that guy doesn't want people to know that he's with a trans woman. And yeah, a lot of times people do get out of it. But like I said, I don't think it's something that's prevalent to the gay community. I think it's just somebody who is scorned in general, because we hear of a lot of women, and I guess even men doing it. If you don't, you know, leave your husband or your wife, I'm going to tell on you and all that other stuff. And that I usually backfires, because you telling the person's significant other that y'all fooling around, that they rarely say, okay, well, since I got put out from my home or whatever, now I'm stuck with you. A lot of times the wife or the husband don't leave. And so now, you know, they got the best of both worlds. They know that there's a side piece and they got a main thing at the house. So there's actually levels to it. I think it's,
yeah. But would that guy be considered straight if he's dealing with a trans woman, or you dealing with a gay person? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't label that guy as straight and put him in my, you know, my genre if he's dealing with the same sex.
You're gonna get me in trouble here.
Well, I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, you know, that person, if they have those leanings, they wouldn't necessarily be considered straight, would they?
I would say this, okay? I would say, and I'm putting the link back up here again in case somebody wants to come on and render, you know, an opinion. I hold on a second. I will say this. I made a mistake here. Okay. I think if you are sleeping with a man, because I've heard that explanation before. Well, I'm not gay. It's just something I do, you know. And it's like, you laying down with another man. Yeah, you definitely ain't straight. You like men, and you like men. I think that what makes you a homosexual, even though you're sleeping with a woman as well. I guess bisexual, whatever. But I've heard that because a lot of times too, from what I understand, men who may not be receiving, but they're only giving, they're like, I'm not gay. I ain't letting no man, do stuff to me. So they say that they're not gay, but I just think it's a twisted way of saying, I like men's.
You're gay. I'm saying my definition, you're gay.
I like men's, but they're not taking on the whole moniker of being a homosexual. As far as a man being with a transsexual, and he knows that. I mean, if it's a trans woman, which means that they were a man originally. Yeah, I think so. I think that also qualifies you for being homosexual, because at the end of the day, it's not a biological woman. It was a man that's saying that they're a woman for whatever reason, right? So I think, yeah. All right, hold on, y'all. Hi, how are you today, Black America?
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Now you being condescending. Now you being condescending. You went over the top. You went over the top. That'd be like me coming up here saying, "Hey, beautiful, I like the way them hips looking today." That'd be too much.
But listen, I meant that sincerely. How are you today? I really did.
I'm good, and you have on my favorite color, so I had to call in and say the color looks beautiful, and you are wearing it. Okay, that's a compliment. That is a compliment.
I take it.
Okay. I was in the chat looking at some different, responses from people and stuff like that, and I too agree that if a man messes with another man that turned himself into a woman, and then they are a couple as a man and a woman, I don't know how that is going to work. I don't think it's okay. That's a personal thing. And I do think that is now I've seen Only Pam's Way said that you can tell if it's a man, and is it a way to tell if it's a man if it's had all of the surgeries? I don't know. Like I wouldn't even chance it. I don't even like going to Family Dollar to pick stuff up anymore in case I run across something like that. So is it a way that we as people can tell? Is there like a gaydar that you scan them with or something like that?
You raise an excellent question, because I think, there's some trans people you could tell, right? Like he kind of heavy on the 5 o'clock shadow type of thing. I don't know. You could tell, but there's some that you can't, right? Like you can't, as they would say in that world, you can't tell if it's real fish or not, right? You just don't know. So there's some cases where men have been duped, right? They thought that they were with a biological woman, and then they found out for whatever reason. Because when a lot of trans women that's a person that used to be a man, they'll have the whole reassignment surgery, right? And I guess in their mind, they're like, well, there's no need for me to tell anybody because I'm not a man anymore, But I think it comes down to the issue of honesty. I think that if you were or are, I guess, biologically a man and you've had a reassignment surgery, I think you should tell the person, because obviously they were attracted to you. So, have that conversation. Listen, I know I'm fine and everything, but I want to tell you about my, history, and then let them decide. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of cases where men have, as they say, unalived trans women because they found out, and it's like, I'm not, that way, and you tricked me and stuff. So you can tell, I would say most of the time. But what if it was a little man? You had little hands, and they had, because you see some men that may have some feminine features, and Maybe they just did the whole, and you don't know, right? So I don't know how you would know.
Well, remember that wrestling legend, China? Remember when she first appeared in WWE?
Mm-hmm.
Those of you guys that follow wrestling, remember she had that really square jaw, that really man square jaw. And she was kind of, being a big girl, a bodybuilder. She had like really mannish features. Then she went away for like a year. She got her jaw sculpted, got a boob job and stuff to look a little bit softer and more feminine. And that's how, what's her name? Joni Lawler. The trans people are doing the same exact thing to where they could, really, pull it off to where they look feminine. So it's kind of like, I get it. You should do the package check and all that other good stuff, but sometimes the package it's been ripped off. You know what I mean? So
yeah, Donovan, we can't go around giving the crocodile Dundee test to these women, bro. Like, I mean, I don't like Trump, but I do agree with grab her by the yeah, buddy. So, but I don't think we can do that and get away with it. Not after Me Too. Like, so young guys don't grab the package down there unless they say it's okay. So it's no way to tell, like, because I wouldn't even know what to look for in and those men that do they give them time for unaliving one of those people? Like, do they get in trouble for that?
Yeah, because as horrible as it is to be lied to, you can't take people out of here. It's against the law, right? I don't even know what kind of justice a person would be able to get for somebody lying to them, but yeah, you definitely can't murder people and get away with it. You know what I mean? Because there's been a lot of cases of where that happened, but I understand the raw emotions of thinking that you were with something and it turned out to be something else, and it's like, wait a minute now, but I would say that most of the time you can tell, but sometimes you can't tell. I mean, some people get really good surgeries and all that other stuff. Now they can't have children, so if you get with somebody like that and you say, hey, let's have some children, and they're like, well, I can't do that, then you might want to say why, and then hopefully they'll tell you, which I doubt. But yeah, it's a sticky situation, but it really boils down to being honest. I would imagine.
Yeah, but a lot of these, I was watching a documentary where they're talking to like some of these trans people, and they're all crying, doing their, oh God, and well, when we be honest with these guys, they want to beat us up and all this other stuff. Well, maybe if you had been forthright to begin with, the guy wouldn't have assaulted you as you're, going down on him or whatever you're doing to him beforehand. And and that's what I don't understand about, especially a lot of the trans people. They want to be accepted so much for who they are, but yet they won't come out and be honest about who they are, so that people could make their own choices if they want to be with that situation or not.
And with that being said, so was it actually proven that it was said man, or was he just accused and somebody said, hey, guess what I'm doing with you? Because they did that same thing to Kevin Samuels. They said that Kevin Samuels had boyfriends and had been caught up with men, and they was calling him a fruit cup for years, but nothing was ever brought to light by that. So was it an actual thing, or was he just accused of that?
So from what I don't know if it was actually a thing, but somebody, from what I understand, sent his wife images, I guess, of him in that group. Who man is this? That's the name of the group. Images of him, and I guess it allegedly was his boo thing. I don't know, that did it. And the rest is history. So I don't know if he denied it or what, or I don't even know if he unalived her due to the divorce or due to being outed, because it sounds like maybe she outed him as well. I don't know. But that's why I said allegedly, because I don't know if it was actually true.
Oh, okay. So if he was just accused by her or she outed him. Like, if me and Donovan took a picture and we on a fishing trip or something and we got the bro hug going, are we now fruit cups because we got the bro hug going, or we on the beach and stuff like that? I just want to know, is it now not okay to be palling around with men, or have we gone so far to say that? Because I'm out in the streets all the time and I see women hugging and kissing on each other all the time, and they aren't together like that, but they can do that. But if I go give Donovan hey man, hey bro, I ain't seen you in a long time, so now are we to consider gay if we do that? Like, how far is this going to go to where, to me, if she outed him and she was right, he did not have a reason to do that. But if she accused him and she was wrong, he had every right in the world to do that, because that's his property, that's his wife. So,
okay.
Well,
See, Black America, you be doing all right, then you just taking a step or 300 steps too far.
How is that taking it too far? A man and a woman belong to each other. They are each other's property.
Okay, let me say this, okay? And Angelina, how you doing? And thank you so much. Oh wow, you said a lot, Black America. Let me try to remember everything you said now. You said, why is it that when a man is out in public and they may give each other a bro hug, somebody accuses them of being gay? I would never assume that. If two men were out and I saw one give a hug, I wouldn't say, they're gay. And furthermore, I wouldn't care. So but if y'all was doing something else in public, then I don't know, maybe. But I knew this guy. He always protested a lot about gay stuff. Oh, it's gay if a man does this. It's gay if men rent an Airbnb together. It's gay if men go to the movies and they sit next to each other. It's gay if a man goes out to a restaurant and they sit across from one another. And I'm like, is there something you want to tell us? Because you saying a whole lot of stuff is gay that is not. And that was coming from a man. So I just kind of wondered, like, what's your malfunction here? So I don't think that, but let's say she did out him and she was wrong. I still don't think he deserved to murder her. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what he should have done. And I'm gonna leave it right there. But Andre, how are you doing today?
Hey, how are y'all?
We're well.
Black America he brought up some really good points when it came to men, like, men going out, hanging out. I just keep it simple. Like, if that's not how you live, then, I'm not really going to sweat that too much. As far as women assuming that, because I'm out with 3 or 4 of my friends, or they on the down low or whatever. Hey, that's not how I live. If you want to be an adult, if that woman has questions and they want to ask me, I'll go ahead and answer that question. But that's how I would handle that. And then technology has just gone so far, it's hard to tell who's who. Like, everybody didn't get the Kris Jenner package. So all jokes aside, it is extremely difficult to tell. Some, they didn't have the money to get the more quality work, but for the most part, it's difficult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people, they really get the, and like, to me, Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever, it still looks like a man, Yeah. But some, like you said, some people they can afford the surgery to where they do get the Adam's apple shaved and the jawline, chiseled down, and all of that. There's a lot of money that goes into it. But I typically can tell. But you know what though? Brother Phil always makes this point, and he's right. Now, I'm probably gonna get in some trouble here. There's a lot of women that wear a whole lot of makeup that are biological women, and you're like, are they trans? Is it a
Yeah.
like biological woman? Because you know, back in the day, like the women, a lot of the makeup that women are wearing nowadays, that was considered stage makeup, or where drag queens, you know, were wearing it because they were trying to hide the beard and all that other stuff. And so sometimes, and even I look at some women who wear a lot of makeup, and it's like, could it be? I don't know, you know. So it is hard to tell, like who's who. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I had a conversation with my daughter about. I'm like, hey, look, you don't have to get all dolled up with all this extra makeup. You know, just something small, you know, nothing too much, and, you know, go about your day. But yeah, no, that too much makeup, yeah, that's a problem. For me, I don't mind it, but every time you go out, you got to put on a full face, I guess it's called. It's a bit much.
I mean, it'd be like a full 3 faces, you know. Sometimes it's like, golly. But you know, that's their choice if they want to wear that. But I'm just saying, sometimes I look at some women and I'm like, if I'm confused, a man probably would be confused too, you know, because it's just a lot. And then you put some of the wigs on, and you know, just a lot going on. And yeah, that's something that a trans man, or what they say a drag queen, would do, right? They're trying to look as feminine as possible, so they, you know, tend to kind of go overboard. But you see a lot of biological women doing that, so yeah, it draws a lot of confusion. I will say that.
Yeah, do you guys remember the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, and Cherry? Remember, he's thinking this girl's all hot and she's looking great, and he gets her back to the spot, and he says, well, since we're being honest, she pops off her boobs, her butt, takes the wig off, her eye, you know, contacts. And so Demetra and me go way back, right? And I go way back. And I hate weave. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. I like natural, you know, beauty woman, come as you are, right? Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons why, because we don't know. It's hard to tell if this is a man, is this a woman? And some of you women, you don't need all of that stuff. You guys are beautiful the way you are. Demetra, natural beauty, like her mother, just natural beauty. She doesn't take much. It is what it is. She ran track. Sha'Carri Richardson, big old booty behind her. You know, Demetra's got the whole package, right? But some of you women, I'm telling you, if you guys do go overboard, and it's like, it's really, you don't need it. You're beautiful the way you are. And that's why when all this weave phenomenon started coming out, and Demetra used to get on me about it, I, until this day, refuse to date a woman that will not wear her natural hair. I won't do it. I just won't do it.
I'm gonna say this. Pisces God, he says, what about women who naturally have beards and mustaches? Yeah, there's some women who have, you know, medical issues that will cause them to have, you know, extra hair and stuff like that. And God bless them, because I know some women who do have that. And I don't think it makes them a man. But if they have that issue, then I can understand why they're, you know, potentially covering it up or trying their best. Because, you know, everybody's judgmental. It's just kind of hard in this society for a woman to walk around with a beard and a mustache, especially if she doesn't want it. Like, you know, there's some women who do, but if a woman don't want that, you know, she's going to get judged, right? People will look at her, look at that, or she got this hair, why don't she shave? And, you know, all that other stuff. So I could get that. So
I'd say to any man out there, when you try to look for something, that's when you get in trouble, because you miss the subtle things. So when you go to meet a woman, let's say you might suspect, don't go in looking for it. Just have a casual conversation, and those things will appear. You just gotta not be so zeroed in on trying to find it.
So what you got to do? Drop a question like, who won the '92 champion NBA Finals or basketball super year? Like, bro, if you come to Vegas, like my club is across from where like a lot of those I don't know what quite guys that dress up like women. I got a club across from like the street, about a quarter of a mile, right? Mm-hmm. And some of those things, you know, you see walking down there, you know, I tell all my guys, you know, be leery, bro, like, because you don't want to come out here and have your car be rocking, and then you gotta, you know, we gotta find something to do. with this other person, because it's not safe. It's not okay for them to do that. And like Donovan said, for them to be deceptive. But earlier today, I was having a conversation with an old pirate, and he told me to look up the list of animals that all through history that men have had sex with. Men will have sex with anything. We truly will. So something like that, I'm like, you're not looking for nothing if you're looking to stick it in. You know what I mean? You're not looking for nothing.
Hold up. Whoa, wait. Time out. Flag on the play. That's what's getting a lot of us in trouble. No discipline. If I meet a woman and I'm interested, I'm not going to go ahead and say, okay, let's go ahead and do this thing. I'm going to go ahead and let me wait you out a little bit.
How old are you?
I'm 46, almost 50.
Okay, so I'm 50. So, bro, you can't tell me that in 1994, when you was in high school, you was waiting brawls out. Stop playing.
No.
Stop playing. I was knocking down I was knocking down everything, and if you were, you're really. Yeah, baby, and if you were really sentimental and all of that, and I love it for you. But no young man, no men, period, have the discipline, bro. No, you don't have. And I had a mom, and I had a dad, and yet once that shit starts raging, you don't have the discipline unless you just on month mode.
No. I was also fortunate to see the aftermath of when you don't have no discipline. Bunch of kids catching diseases. So when you see that, it made me pump my brakes. Like, hold up, yeah, I'll go ahead and wait and take my time here. I'm not just jumping in because I see the results of jumping in. I think that's something we need to kind of pull the young men in and be like, hey, look, I get it. Hormones are raging, but if you go ahead and jump in there and things ain't right, this is what you got to deal with for the rest of your life. And a child, don't take this the wrong way, a child is the least of it. Can you imagine being 14, 15 years old, you got AIDS, or you mess around and catch blue waffles? Like, that ain't going nowhere. I don't care how much they control it. That's still going to be an issue for the rest of your life, because then you got to tell everybody, well, the person that you're with, and it's got to be all these different things you got to do to make the relationship work and make sure she's safe. So for me, in 94, I had too many examples of what not to do. And you talking to a dude that in 1994, I was an athlete, ran track, better than football. So I get what you're saying. I had my pick of women, but I knew I was not ready to be nobody's father at 15, 16. And I did not want to catch anything.
Hold on a second. Y'all asking what blue waffles are? I'm telling y'all, do not Google it.
Don't
see what it looks like. I stupidly did years and years ago, and I haven't been the same since. So we're telling you not to do it, but you're gonna do it anyway. But we tried to warn you.
And what percentage of young men like you, my brother? Just answer that question. It's kind of like the question I really have for Donovan next, which is going to blow the rest of his hair off of his bald head. But what percentage of brothers are like you?
I want to say a low percentage, but I think there's a little bit more. There are more.
If it's a low percentage, it doesn't really matter. You guys are trying to bring in because of your account. If you're not the general population of men, which you're not, you're an athlete. I'm an athlete. You was like, oh no, I'm gonna hold on to this thing because I'm scared. I don't want to have kids, and I don't, this, that, and the other, and I'm going a certain direction in my life, brother. Most young men are not like you. That's why we go into the military at 18. Because we say, hell, at least I'm going to get to kill something, or I'm going to die trying to kill something. So most young men are not like that. That's all I'm saying.
I mean that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I didn't say I was a virgin. I had a girlfriend. Like I had 2 girlfriends, but like those were the only people that I was sleeping with. So I don't want anybody to think I was walking around with a Bible and the
But
white
you know
shirt
what,
and the
though,
tie.
Andre? You ain't
Yeah,
got to explain yourself to Black America. There's a lot of men that's walking around, like you said it beautifully, that have discipline. And for Black America, you claim to love Kevin Samuels so much, and you walk in, you talk. I don't know if you walk. Kevin Samuels, he had a show, and I thought it was marvelous, where he says that men, especially the brothers, need to practice discipline. He says, if I was Thanos and I could snap my fingers and take away all of your lower regions and you had to get after it with everything else, he says, I would do that. He says, because Black men, is not me saying this, it's the late, great Kevin Samuels that says, Black men are the only group of men that think that they can just, and he did that. I ain't gonna say the word. He said, hump your way through life. And so he impressed upon Black men to be disciplined. Don't run around and just laying your seed everywhere and all that other stuff. And he also said, now I don't know how true it is. I remember a show where he says, I have clean D. I have clean D. I'm not running around sleeping with any and everything and all that other stuff. So in the Nation of Islam, they talk about it all the time too, having discipline, right? I saw Brother Nuri Muhammad and his beautiful wife a couple of weeks ago, where they were telling men and women how to find a good husband, how to find a good wife. And he says that women are always, men are always, basically taught to go after a woman that's virtuous, right? She is a virgin and all that. But he says we never tell the women to expect the same thing out of men. Like women are supposed to just bed down with anything. All child, he done laid his seed all over the world, and he's been with every woman you can think of. Oh, that's okay, as long as I have a man. But women, we're supposed to say, oh no, buddy, you got all that going on. You got all these baby mamas. You ain't make none of them no honest woman. You dangling all over the place, and you want to get in bed with me? Sucker. Black America.
All right, I was just waiting for you to finish. That was beautifully stupid because I keep going back to the fact how long were those 2 people married and they're Muslim? Black people, for the most part in this country, are not Muslim. There's only 50,000 Muslims in this country, or that are practicing NOI. So that is a misnomer. It's not that's not enough to fill up a football stadium. Okay?
But do you have a problem with the premise of having some discipline?
Yes, because you said for me. Hold on. Let me explain to you.
That's the wrong person, but go ahead.
You said for men to have discipline. A young man is not a man, Dimitri. I'm sorry. Over the course of this 50 years, I want to say about every 7 years in a man's life, it changes. 7, 14, puberty, 21, you can drink, 28, you start thinking a different way. So a man and a young man are 2 totally different monsters. They are. So you can't tell a young man to have discipline without complete structure. Donovan went to the military. He had complete structure, and his life turned out great. And other parts of his life didn't turn out so great, like the way he might have wanted. So you can't tell a young man to have this. It has never worked in the world. So it doesn't matter if it's not something that is the general practice of the world. You can't just start something that's never happened.
Donovan, you want to add something?
Oh no, I'm in the comments here. So, but yeah.
And one thing, I'm a grown man. Kevin Samuel said some good things. Kevin Samuel said some bad things. I listen to him like I listen to you guys. I don't follow you guys like that. I like I said, I work all day, every day, and all night, every night. I keep myself going by appreciating you guys' conversation and looking at the beautiful clothes and stuff you have on. That's how I get myself. But Kevin Samuel said some good things. He mostly was trying to get men and women together, trying to tell you women on what you're going to have to do to get a man. But the women didn't like that from what he was trying to do.
So then my question is, we'll say 60s, 50s, 40s, black people, our people, we weren't out here having all these kids like talking about. You might have had a couple people that might have 10 plus kids, but it seems to me that our men prior to and even our women prior to had more discipline because everybody is like, you understood what you wanted to do. So you made smarter choices.
Bro, how many kids did your grandparents have? Just
on which side?
Both my mother and father had 13.
You're kind of cutting out a little bit, Black America.
On my mother's side, there was 4 of them. On my dad's side, there was 9 of them. Now, on my dad's side, all of them have different fathers. On my mom's side, they all had the same mother and father.
And so what I'm saying is, for most families or our grandparents' generation, that's more of the normal. Since you could be my little brother, that's more of the normal. That's not abnormal. You act. Mine had 13. Yours had 9. That's more of the normal. It's not something that just started. It's something that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years.
No, I have to disagree with you because one had 9, one had 4, but the one who had 9, it was 9 different men on the other side of that fence, and those fathers, some were involved, some were in and out. The other side, you got, grandparents had 4 kids. That was a committed marriage. So there was more structure, more stability. There were more men roaming around like my grandfather on my mother's side than on my big mama's side. She was meeting this cat at the Jew joint and that guy. So the structure, the stability that you talk about, which is beneficial, I mean, that's there when you got people committed and having a large amount of kids. So, I mean, to each his own.
Okay.
But to me,
I think it's okay. One more question to you. One more quick question to you before I hit Donovan. So now we hear this is a good thing that women always say. He had a whole other family on the other side of town. When he passed, everybody got to meet each other. I'm saying that's what they say. I don't have any proof of somebody grandfather that was married for 60 years had a whole other family on the other side of town. But it does happen, mate, and it did happen. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that happened. That happened. Now you got to put the other part in there too. That man had the other family on the other side of town, but he took care of home first, and he made sure the side family was okay too. So it wasn't just, hey, I'm popping in to go ahead and throw one to you, and then I'm going back home because the missus is making Sunday dinner. Not
like that.
Not the same.
I dig that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if he had 4 over there and another 3 with the other chick, that comes up to 7. No matter what, sir, people have always had large amounts of kids. This cutting the kid down thing is a mostly recent thing.
let me let Miss Corliss jump in. Look like you're getting your hair done.
I am. I just my phone was dead. I saw you was on. I didn't catch what the topic was, but I see as always, old Black America ass up in here.
Well, we were talking about, I don't know if you saw the situation of the sister that was unalived by her husband because apparently, or allegedly, I should say, he was on the DL and he got outed in some group. Who man is this or whatever? So that's kind of how we got to where we are. But we were having a conversation about being disciplined. Brother Andre said that, he practiced discipline and men should practice discipline in regards to sex, but Black America is saying that's not the case, right? So that's kind of where the back and forth is.
Well, Black America got how many kids? What, 10, 12, 15? How many?
16. He said 16.
Oh, 16? Well, that's a whole lot of discipline, I guess.
Black America.
I hope he disciplined now.
I'm just letting her talk. But and see, you got to realize.
Because you know he gonna say something slick. Because
I'm not gonna say nothing slick. What I want you to understand is that. All right, so I got a little girl that's about to turn 6 in like 4 or 5 days, right? But my oldest child from her is 26 years old. You know what I mean? So it's a huge gap from when I was younger. I don't know how many years ago that was, 20, 30 years ago, whenever that was, to now. And what I was saying was, because what she was talking about the discipline, what I was saying was that men all throughout history have never shown any discipline, especially discipline or restraint, especially when it comes to women. Like, Genghis Khan, every 5th person on the planet, or every 5th or 6th person on the planet is related to Genghis Khan, or Henry VIII. Like, I don't know how many women he decapitated because he was just running through them. So men have never shown any restraint when it comes to getting the yams.
No, I beg to differ because I got 3 uncles that I can say I know damn well had some restraint. My one uncle was married once, his wife died. He has children by her. He got married again. He's been with that same woman. My auntie's husband has had one wife, which is my auntie from the age of 18. She's damn near 60 years old. So you can't say that. You can only speak for what your perception is. But it's some of us that are out here that have people that have true restraint.
No, I'm talking about, so your one uncle that was married, his wife passed away, right? So then he went and got another woman. So he got that woman. Now, if he had 3 kids with her and another 3 or 4 kids, I know he did, but he had another 3 or 4 kids with her. If that woman would have passed away and he would have went and got another woman, you see what I mean?
No.
So
No.
It's not that a man is not going to live without a woman. You're saying that a man is just.
Let me. Okay, so we have Andre who says that he's a man, from what I could tell, that he is able to exercise some discipline, some restraint.
Andre, are you in the medical field?
No.
It's just a question. He said blue waffles. Hey, he said blue waffles. It's just a question, man. It's not like I'm putting the man on the mound.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is he's a man and he's telling you that he's able to exercise discipline. And I know a lot of men who are able to exercise discipline and they laying their stuff all over the place just because.
Andre, give these ladies, bro. Seriously, since you the one that said it, I really want you to give these ladies a percentage of young men that are like you, from 1 to 100, bro. Give these ladies an actual factual percentage, and then me and Donovan, because we're guys, we can give them a percentage too. And let's take a medium thing.
I'll take a survey. Men in this chat, how many of you lack discipline? So if you lack discipline, put a 2. If you have discipline,
you can't say that, Demetrius, because it's unfair, because I said young men. We have discipline now that we're older. I'm talking about a young man. A young man.
I'm telling you, when he was young, that he exercised discipline.
Andre is weird. He's a misnumber. He's not normal.
No, he's not.
He's
not okay.
No. That you guys aren't understanding what I'm saying.
Black America.
It wasn't normal.
Black America.
I got a normal nephew. He just turned 21. Normal. Play football, video games, love women. Guess what? And I thank God he's still a virgin. It ain't weird. It's what he was taught, that he's valuable. So he ain't out here slanging his dick all over the damn world. And I'm glad he ain't. He's a scholar student and he plays football. And he's very goddamn handsome. But because of the way he was raised and he has some self-value about himself, he has very good discipline, because guess what? He ain't out doing everything that all his little buddies doing on the football field. So what makes that
Okay, so did you just hear what you just said? You said he's not doing everything that all the rest of his buddies are out here doing.
But I wasn't talking about sex. See,
no, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the normal attributes of a young man. Andre know that I'm not calling him weird. If he thought that I would call him weird, bro, I'm sorry I apologize about that. What I'm saying is he wasn't a normal young man. He didn't live his life like a normal young man. When Donovan got out of boot camp and went to get some tail, he was doing what normal young men do. Andre did not do that same thing.
Black America, come up with some air.
What is normal?
That's what I want to know.
Because right now, gay is normal. Transgender is normal. Bisexual is normal. Niggas getting their booty hole played with is normal. You heard the damn song? My booty hole brown and my coochie pink. That's some normal shit. That shit ain't normal. That's sick. So the world is sick. So it's normal.
I think what he's saying in general, when men go through their hormonal thing and they're transitioning, especially when they're transitioning from young men to men, and you got the hormones in it. I think what he's basically saying is, in general, we are reckless and we are not disciplined. We generally are. Now, I was in a military home and I was disciplined as a young man, but even though I was still disciplined as a young man, I still was out there reckless when it came to women and
learning how to do
stuff like that.
Thank you, Donovan.
Wait. Lord have mercy. I don't know if it's normal for a man to be reckless, but there are quite a few men out there that are not reckless. There's quite a few men out there that understand that lying your dangling all over the world, it has consequences, right? Because there's a lot of children out there with fathers not in the home or whatever the case is. So there are quite a few men that understand that. Like, they just not jumping in any and every woman that they get with, They want to make sure that she is worthy of that. Because again, we tell women all the time, oh, don't let it just any man in your bed. But we should be telling our sons that too. You can go out with a court or whatever, but having sex with her shouldn't be the first thing on your mind. Because there's a lot of cases where men have jumped into bed with women, put babies in them, and then they talk about, I don't want to be with her. She crazy. She this, she that. She rooking me for a bunch of child support and all this other stuff. But had they not been reckless and they had the conversation, which I would hope that most parents will have a conversation with them. Hey, don't let her Coke bottle figure drag you into the bed. Get to know what's in her mind before you get in her behind, right? But y'all shaking your head. But I know there's a couple of y'all here, gentlemen, that got some babies with women that y'all, if you would have just had a couple more conversations with her, you wouldn't be, in the situation you're in. So we got to start spreading that message to both men, or boys and girls. Stop telling your sons, go be reckless with it and all that other stuff. And the other thing is, you can have a baby, but and you can live with that. But what about that other stuff you may get where, you got to have a conversation with every woman you with? You supposed to anyway. You know what? Before we do this, I got some little homies down there that I can't get rid of.
Girl, like they did when Easy came up talking about he got AIDS, and girl, the hotline and a half the world was blowing up. Can't figure out he done slept with everybody in that side of the world and some more. So
Right. But I think what Black America is basically saying is, like I said, even though I was raised in a disciplined house because I came from a military home, so there was no gray area, and Demetra knows that. I wasn't raised with gray area. It's either yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes or no. The point is, even though I was told everything I was needed to be told, nobody told me to go out there and sleep with everybody. It's just the idea that they said if I was going to do it, be responsible in what I was doing. That's why I don't have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nikki, I'm with you. I need mental stimulation too. I've never been that type of just like, ooh, you fine. Let's go hop in the bed. And I want to kind of hear what you got to say a little bit, In some of those cases, I didn't let them talk long enough, but that's a different story. Ooh, I got jokes. But yeah, so listen, I can't tell people what to do with their bodies. And yeah, Sister Shirley, I'm speaking, like most women, not like a man, so I can't speak from a man's point of view. But I have nephews, and I've told them, hey, everybody ain't worthy of laying down with you. You don't know who she is, really, because the man has got more to lose than the woman if he has a baby with her and then they don't work out and then he's getting child support here and there.
They're changing those laws as we speak.
Yeah, but they ain't changing them fast enough. You know what I mean? And even if they wasn't changed, if child support wasn't an issue, let's have a discussion as to why you think that it's all right to jump in the bed for men and women, to jump in the bed with just any old body. I don't know. I've been called a prude when I was younger. When some, my friends from high school found out I had a child, they're like, you have a child? Like if it was impossible for me to, do that. So I guess maybe I just lack the understanding of how, you just get in the bed with somebody and put your legs up in the air and you don't know what this person is.
Okay, can I say something right quick?
Yeah, you can.
Andre, brother, can you please give me a percentage, a number of brothers that were like you, so we can kind of iron this out for the ladies? Because I think they don't understand, even with you having discipline and being a man now, I don't think that they see that all we want them, even though you had discipline, that all we want from them at around that age is the buns. They don't matter. Please give us a percentage of young men that might have been like you, sir.
I can't do that. And you can't do it the other way either. I got to poll everybody in the world, or in America at least, to get an accurate answer. So, that's dishonest.
Okay, let's just put it in general. Let's not go let's go ballpark, bro. Can we go ballpark?
No. Because you can't say ballpark, but then say fact right behind it. If we gonna do it, we got to do it right.
Donovan, can you give a ballpark figure of young men that may have had the discipline of St. Andre?
I would say, like when I was in high school, and back in the 80s and stuff, it would be, I would but I was raised in a different environment, so I wasn't here in America. So, but in general, if I had to take a wild guess, just in general, high school and how boys and people were back in the day, there was always that maybe like less than 6%. 6%, because like I said, when I was in high school, there was a pack of dudes and we were all doing the same thing. We were all athletes. We were all going to the parties. We were all, messing with the chicks, and not saying that the chicks were giving it up, because it takes two, but we would, try, get with them and do what we got to do. So I would say in general about 6 to 8%.
And I was going to say about 10%, which 10% of men or young men having discipline is not enough to be a drop in the bucket for any. I know you guys have this whimsical thing of what young men can and should be, but it's just not what we are for the most part as young men. It's not what we are. Her nephew is busting ass. He's a rogue scholar and he's a football player and all of that. And if he's not getting no buns, it's because he has a vision of doing something else and better with his life.
Okay, so stop right there. Stop right there. Now I think we're getting somewhere. Now, because I was like, how can I deviate this conversation? But thank you. So you basically, are you saying that most men have no goals? Is that what you're saying? They're just like kind of like waking up and it's like, I'm gonna do what I do. Like, what are we saying here?
Mr. Mitra, I'm going to say this as plainly as possible, and I want you to understand. About 80% of men do not care. And when I say do not care, you look at the homeless men out there, they don't care. Men take each other's lives. We don't care. We drink to excess. We drive our motorcycles too fast. We work on oil rigs all day, 14, 20-hour days. We don't care. We don't have a vision of tomorrow because we just don't care. It doesn't have anything to do with any of that. If he wants to be a doctor, he's looking forward for his tomorrow. Most of us are not thinking we're going to be a doctor. We don't want to be a doctor. We don't care, especially when we're young. We think we're invincible. All of us young men think when we're young, we think we're invincible. We don't care.
And y'all listen, okay? I'm not saying that. That's a man saying y'all don't care. You're not really, into goals, I guess, at that time. And I don't know, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for y'all because to me, that sounds like talking points out of the divester fear, the Cynthia G and them realm of things. So I don't know. I can't at this point really tell you your truth or whatever the case is. But nevertheless, we should really be having those conversations about not getting horizontal with just any and everybody. I've taught my daughter that. And as of now, I don't have any grandchildren. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but as I always say to people who ask me, I have any grandchildren? I'm like, you should be asking me if I have a son-in-law first. Stop asking me if I got a grandchild, because I tell my daughter we need to be talking about a son-in-law before you bring any grandchildren to me at all, because that's the message we should be giving. And I don't know, maybe I'm just in a different realm or whatever. One who cares how you doing? It says good evening, Demetra and Donovan, guests in chat. Yes, indeed. The Adventure Kid says, well, that's sad. Men who have their dads in the home would not be saying that. That's why dads are important. I totally agree. And a dad that's got a good head on his shoulders, and even if they don't have a dad and a mom in the house, they have a mom, a grandfather, somebody to say, hey, son, think with the big head, not the little head, and all of those.
Hold on, wait a minute. I was raised by my father and mother in a military household and was there my dad was there from the day I was born after Vietnam, and I was there the day my dad passed away. So it doesn't have anything to do with having a father. It has to do with being a man. You guys, you women want men to be honest, but when a man who can cook, clean, wash cars, fix cars, build houses and fly planes and drive trucks, ride motorcycles, and all the other man shit actually says something, you guys don't like it very much.
And then let me just add this, because Black America has the background that I have. He comes from a military background. In the military, it is very strongly stated, not the military is not a social experiment for civilians, okay? But even though they're doing it now. But back when we were younger, it wasn't a social experiment. Boys were made to feel and act alpha male-ish. That's just how it was. They didn't push us and tell us, oh, go have sex, go have sex, go have sex. But it was always put in our heads, you're a man, you're a boy, blah, 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 blah. The girls are this, they're that, they're this, they're that. And that's pretty much how it was. There wasn't a gray area was, well, son, just think about being a doctor and all that. No, that was not the case. 80%, I would say a good majority of people that are in the military come from people that were in the military in some shape, form, or fashion. So it's a traditional type thing that's passed down, a culture that's passed down. Not making any excuses, but it's a very strong culture, very, very strong.
So can I ask this? Are we saying that to be an alpha male means that you lack discipline and that you just kind of, go on?
No. Yeah, I know where you're going with that. No, it's not saying that you lack discipline. What it's saying is in a military scope, they want you to be very aggressive and, male-ish. You know your role and what you're supposed to do in regards. That's why when you come into the military, at least when I was in, they stress, this is how, it is. The men are this, and, and everybody knows it. Okay, let's get a good example. You're in a unit with women and stuff like this, right? There's no debate when a man and a woman are in a unit that women can't do what men can do. So if I ask this person to pick up 80 pounds or something, I ask the dude to do it, he's going to do it by himself. Usually when I ask a woman to do it in regards, when we know the biologicals and all that other stuff, she wants me to assign somebody else to go with her to do the lifting because she can't do it. So the roles are very defined in how you do it. That's why the military for so long was like, don't ask, don't tell, and don't say nothing at all for so long. The roles are very rigid in how they're defined. But as far as being reckless, no, you're not supposed to be reckless. That's why they tell you if you're going to do it responsibly. But hit everything you can. Hit everything. Demetri, you got military benefits. You were at the all-nighters.
I was not letting anything. Hey, listen,
I didn't say you were hitting everything, but what were the guys doing?
Yeah, I don't know, because I wasn't up in their business like that.
Right, but they were trying to get you to dance and take it out.
Dance. Yes,
right. But what was the end goal that they were trying to do? You guys know what they were trying to do.
I'm not stupid. I know, a lot of guys, even my age, they talk a good game, but at the end of the day, what they want to do. But listen, that's up to me to allow that. Right. That ain't gonna go down.
But the culture itself was, be a male. Go out there and do what you got to do. Just do it responsible.
Oh Lord, how you doing, a lady? I don't know about another one. Listen, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking the way things should be. Maybe they're not that way. I just know that the people that I am near and dear to, that I can influence, the young people, I just, impart that message on them. Don't be irresponsible. And going out there and doing that, And I would also impress upon anybody, man or women, if somebody has a bunch of children by a bunch of women or a bunch of, men or whatever the case is, I don't know, and they've never married or whatever, ask them, what was your malfunction? Why didn't you ever marry? One of them or something, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, I just think that'd be a good question, because that also says that they have an inability to commit. They're just out there, spreading children, and they're not married to nobody. That I just think if we had that conversation, it'd be interesting. It'll be interesting the answers that you get. And usually that answer has something to do with them, the other person. So it's like you got all these baby mamas out there, and not one of them was suitable to be a wife, but they were suitable to have your children. I think that says more about that person than anything.
Agreed. That's fair. Some of us on the panel been divorced. You go date somebody, and one time I don't know if I can do marriage again, but that's
damn.
That y'all gonna have, that'll be another show. But you get asked, well, what happened, and I'm just like, hey, look, I try to be an adult. Like, hey, look, I was gone a lot. We just couldn't reconnect, and we felt it was best to go both ways. And then you'll have some, like my ex-wife, everything was my husband's fault. He made me this way. So what you're saying, Demetri, is true. One party's going to put all the blame on you, and they're the innocent one in this relationship. In the relationship I had.
A relationship takes two parties, so it's never just one person's fault. Communication is a key. I can say that. And most people don't know how to communicate. And some people they just have sex and make babies. And like you said, they ain't thought about it. It was, they look good, and they just wanted to get a nut off. And they wind up feeling life that they ain't even want. Like the one dude that said he talked to people from the very beginning, he didn't want no kids, and he done made all these babies, but you ain't done to protect yourself either, stupid. So I mean, you just all full all the way around the board. You kind
of cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit.
Yeah, but
no, I said, you just out here really never sleeping with people, and you don't care. You know what I'm saying? You can't care. You can't say you care about yourself and you don't protect yourself.
Correct. And you got women out here. It's obvious that the women aren't using birth control and doing all of that. So it goes both ways. But again, by biology, then the way we are programmed, men are programmed to sleep with as many women as possible. It's something that we are pre-programmed to do. If we did not have that programmed in us, the human species would die out. That's why when you look at other forms of animals, they try to corral as many females for themselves as they can. And the strongest male usually mates first. And that's just how we're programmed. I'm not saying as an excuse, that's just how it is.
Right. Once again, as men, we don't care. You guys we look at you as objects of our affection, as the thing we want to be around and all of that stuff. My dad one of his favorite saying was, we spend 9 months trying to get out and the rest of our lives trying to get back in. We don't care. Yes, if you can find one good woman to do all of that with, that's fine and dandy. But for the most part, we have a physical need for you, and that need can be fulfilled by as many women as you can afford.
I mean, I guess, I can't.
I'm sorry, D. It can also be fulfilled by your hand.
Hey.
You so nasty.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me. Again, I look forward to more of your content. Y'all be easy.
Thank you. Now the one sensible man gonna leave up off of here. I'm gonna put the link back up in here.
But he's gonna leave off here and go have some drinks.
I'm gonna be right behind you after this. So
I'm gonna hop up off here too. I gotta run in the store real quick, so I can come back and make some. I will. Bye.
All right. Bye. So I'm seeing that Donovan and Empress Style, how are you doing? Y'all putting up these these statistics here. Take Cordless off of here. Give me 1 second. He says among men aged 15 through 49 in 2015, 2019, 55.2% had not fathered a biological child. 14.8% had fathered one biological child. 17.4% had fathered 2 children. 8.2% had fathered 3 children. Okay, so why are we putting that up? Because I saw both of y'all putting it up. So did I miss something? And it's possible that I did. Why are we putting those up?
No, we're talking about like the numbers of the people in that age range and how it is and what the numbers are. If you really think about it, what they're saying, at least 50% of men between 18 and 49 or whatever, they don't have any children at all. Now, what the statistic is not saying in that is that's not saying that the brothers that are hitting it and getting away, you know what I mean? They're not giving those numbers. It's those that have children that don't have children. So,
right, and but it also points out the 8% of young men with 3 children are the men in that category with 3. You see how much of a smaller number. You know, you might could get away with 1, you might could get away with 2 in the 15, 16%, but that smaller number, that 8% has 3 or more children. And do you know that those are usually the brothers that have children by different women?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that's the way it is. Y'all know I only have 1 child, and that was by design. Just me personally, I always say I can't speak for anybody else.
Oh, that's because you're approved. You were approved.
I guess I was, you know. I was, you know. So a lot of people said I was green or whatever the case is. That's fine. I take that. But one thing people will tell you is you never heard my name all around the neighborhood. No, you didn't. Okay, I was considered and still am a good girl. Okay, now they know they can do all that with me because, like I said, back in the day when they played hide and go get it, and y'all know what hide and go get it is. But when they played that game, I would play right, but then I go hide in the house. And then later on, they'd be like, "Where'd you go?" "Oh, I went in the house because I had heard some hide and go get it horror stories." And I was like, "I bet it won't be me." So yeah, I just wasn't that way. But yeah, I had 1 child, and I had 1 child on purpose. I just personally did not want to have a plethora of baby daddies or nothing like that. And I'm just speaking for me. I'm not saying it's for anybody else. I just didn't want that, and I wasn't raised that way. So, and I didn't want a bunch of children. That's just me, you know. And not only that, as I said, children you can deal with, but the heebie-jeebies down there, and like I said, having to have that conversation with people. Hey, before we do it, I just want you to know I'm not alone. I got some other things going on.
Yeah,
you know?
see, and the funny thing is, I'm opposite of you. I wanted a big family, but you know, again, being responsible, how I'm supposed to do it, I'm just not going to have children with just anybody. I'm just not going to do it. So, and at this point, I'm pretty much that ship has sailed.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing having a big family, but I know you didn't want to, like you said, a big family with a bunch of women. You wanted a big family with, 1 woman or whatever the case is. Like our ancestors, our family, the mom, the grandmas, and they used to do. They used to have, most of the time with 1 person. That's kind of not what we're doing now. It's just, and Donovan, we talk about this a lot in regards to there not being shame. Back in the day, there was shame, and I'm not saying it was always right, because back in the day when a woman and they punished a woman, she got pregnant at a young, let's say she was a child, 15 or however, she wasn't an adult, especially in the church or even in the South, they sent her away to her auntie house. Oh, what happened to Jane? Oh, she's spending the summer at her auntie or her cousin's house, somewhere else. Then she come back without the baby because somebody else was raising the baby or whatever. I'm not saying that's always right, but that's what they did. There was still some sort of shame in having babies out of wedlock and, all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, like I said, people will ask you about a grandbaby before they will a son-in-law, which I think is so backwards. And like I said, I always tell people, don't ask me about no baby, no grandbaby, unless you ask me about my son-in-law. And right now we don't have one of those. And she knows that's the only way you're going to be having some children is with a man that you're married to, somebody that you're on the same page, and you ain't got to be, God forbid, having a bunch of drama and trauma, and then you got a baby to deal with on top of that. You know what I mean? Those are conversations we need to have. We also talk about how, people will invite you to a copious amount of baby showers, but they ain't never invited you to no bridal shower or no, party for the groom or bachelor party. And you got these baby showers, but it's like, is anybody gonna get married? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? We keep getting these baby shower invites and these gender reveals and all this other stuff, but not no bridal shower.
Yeah,
no
I don't
wedding.
go to none of that no more. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I think that's where kind of the shame needs to come in too. All right, I'm gonna go to the first baby shower, but don't invite me to 2, 3, 4, 5, and she ain't got no husband or or whatever. Like at some point in time, we as a community have to say, that's nice, and I wish you well. Maybe you can hand down the stuff that I got for the first baby to the second baby or whatever. But I'm not going to be coming to no baby showers of your child, whether it's a man or a girl or a boy, and they are not married. We need to really get back to that. And I wouldn't be mad if that was my situation. If I had a child that just kept on having children out of wedlock, I wouldn't be mad if somebody told me that, because that's the way it should be. So because we want people to think, right? Encourage your children to, as they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice.
Right. And then you got to think, when we were coming up, I'm not saying jobs were plentiful, but you could come out of high school on a vocation and get a decent job and kind of take care of the situation back then. Nowadays, with AI taking all the jobs away, it's going to be at least 4 times worse for these millennials to find proper work, especially now. We're talking about the ones that got their stuff together and made the right decision. They went to college, they've got the training. You're talking about the other half that just, hey, I'm out here doing this, I'm out here doing that. It's going to be curtains. It's going to be curtains coming up. So, the jobs just aren't there. So, I mean, it's unfortunate for these young people, but we've also got to tell these young people, hey, you don't have time to pussyfoot around. Excuse my language. You just don't have the time, because for every year that you miss, that's the year that you're going to stay on the job longer. That's a year you're going to, it's just going to be, you're just making your situation worse, and you're digging a hole. And the best way to stop digging yourself in a hole is to stop digging. I mean, these kids just don't have a chance. So back in our day, it was a little different. Nowadays, having a child that you can't support is almost catastrophic to you doing anything. I was walking my dog, as I usually do today, and I saw 2 or 3 more homeless Black people out there. And I'm just like, it's getting bad out here, y'all. It's getting bad.
It is getting bad. And like I said, it costs a lot of money to raise a child right. Hello, Brandon. How you doing? It costs a lot of money to raise a child right. And not doing so, you cause that child to go through some things that they shouldn't have to go through. Now, for me, it wasn't necessarily an issue of finances, because I had a pretty good job and everything back then. But I do think having one more would have probably stretched, and then I'm assuming if the father wasn't around or whatever, but I didn't want to do that. But for me, it was more of a mental thing, an emotional thing. Like, how many children can I really give attention to? Now, later on, I did end up raising 3 of my, 2 of my nephews and 1 of my niece. So I ended up having 4 children at one point in time. But it was, I just never, to me, I just deemed it to be irresponsible to have children by more men than 1, right? I just didn't want that, because I heard the stories of, women having children by different men, and that daddy comes, this daddy don't show up, and it's just a lot, right? So I just did not want to do that. And again, no shade to anybody else, but I saw somebody say, marry before you carry. That's what you should do. Now, of course, there's no absolutes in that it'll work out, but at least you did it the right way, right? And for me, I wasn't married. I had my daughter when I was 21, and her and her father just didn't work out, and that's fine. We were young and all of that. We're good now, but I would have, if in retrospect, gotten married, and hopefully it would have worked out then. But that's the message that we should be giving our young people, is make sure that the person you decide to lay down with, I always say, you have to ask yourself some questions. Well, how well do I know this person? Do I know them well enough to If I had a child with them, if I got pregnant, would I want to spend 18 plus years with this person? Or is this somebody that I would want to marry? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't be doing those things with them.
Well, let me ask you this question. I mean, it's pretty easy to get into a marriage and it's pretty easy to get out of a marriage, especially when you're young, because you don't really have a lot of assets unless you got it like that. I mean, why isn't it that we aren't pushing marriage and doing that? You know what I mean? That's one thing we should be telling our kids. Hey, don't be, get married. Because Demetra, for the life of me, explain this to me. And anybody in the chat, please explain this to me. How can you live with a man, give him 2 or 3 children, living in an apartment, if you buy a house together, whatever you're doing, stay together for 8 or 9 years, doing everything that you would do as if you were in a marriage, but yet y'all ain't ready? Please explain that to me.
So I don't know about that. As far as, I mean, some people don't value marriage for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't come from a home that had a good marriage, or maybe they came from a home where the mom or dad was not married. But I think it definitely has something to do with the teachings and the upbringing and things like that. Because when you are taught value, then usually you will go off and do things that are valuable, like having an intact home, marrying your significant other or whatever like that. But especially nowadays, we hear the message of, oh, don't get married. I'm never going to get married. And so when you have stuff like that, and, as a woman, I'm just tell to other women, and I'm from a woman, I'm just saying, if a man is telling you that I'm never going to get married, or I don't know about that, see, because for me, when I haven't been on a date, it's been a while, but somebody is interested in me, I'm going to ask them, what are your goals? Are you looking for somebody just to, be a plaything? Or are you looking for a main thing? Now, when I say a main thing, are you looking for a wife? If you're not looking for a wife, you hemming and hawing, well, I'm just kind of right now, I just want to hang out and be single. What he's really saying to you, and I'm speaking to the ladies, what he's really saying to you is, I want to use and abuse you. You treat you like, not use and abuse you like this, beat you up, but he want to treat you like a trampoline. He want to make you the plaything. You ain't good enough for him to walk down the aisle or jump over a broom, but he want to use you up. And then when he's tired of that, then he gonna move on to the next one and then do the same thing to her. But as women, we have to let it be known, I'm not gonna be your plaything. There's a lot of women who will allow you to do that to and with her. I ain't one of them. But for me, this is what I want to do. Because see, what happens is, a lot of times as women, we think, oh, well, I'm going to just sneak it on him. I'm going to just kind of put these little innuendos out there. I'll let him hop up and down on me, and then eventually he'll want to marry me and all of that. No, you got to have that conversation up front. Listen, brother, you fine. I'm damn sure fine. And you got all you appear to be all that, but this is what I am looking for. I'm looking for a husband, or I'm looking for a wife. You got to get it out the way in the beginning, because some people will say, well, you don't want to scare him off. Yes, I do. I want to scare him off. If he is scared off by me saying that I have some demands, that you make me an honest woman, that you're not just begging me until you figure out what you're trying to do. If that scares him off, then boo, bye, go. Because as I said, there's a lot of women who will be, hey, oh yeah, I want what you want, whatever you want. I just can't, especially at the age of being 52 years old. I ain't got time to play with you, sucker. If this is what I want, if you don't want that, then you have at it. Good luck.
Yeah, and we got to stress there's benefits to being married. I mean, it's bad enough we don't talk to our kids about finances. We don't talk to them about relationships. We just expect these kids we send them to school, they turn 18, and then we lock them out of the house. That's what the Black community does to our children. We don't give them enough information, and they're out there and got to find it out in the streets. There is benefits to being married. How many stories have we heard where, let's say the father, some reason, got deleted, right? No insurance on whatever. It condemns the children to poverty. Ladies, when you're having children and not being married, in a lot of cases, not all cases, but in a lot of cases, especially if you come from a impoverished area and you're trying to break out of that, you're condemning yourself and your children to poverty. Whereas if you are married and you got the two incomes, you have a better chance of getting out of that poverty. These are the things we've got to start telling our children. There's benefits to being married. If that man happens to die, you get the Social Security, you get his job benefits, you get his, all this stuff comes into it. If that man was formerly in the military, Demetra, how many military benefits for the children are available if that person happens to die? I mean, these are things that we don't talk about and we don't think about, and I get it. But the point is, our children suffer when we don't think about these things. All we think about is the good time that we're having. Yes, relationships don't last. Things don't last. We get it. But at the same time, ladies, for you guys to give a man that doesn't want to marry you, or you don't get married, the most precious thing you can give him, your wound. I mean, that's kind of crazy that you're going to do all that and not ask for commitment and ask for this man to demand that this man, take you in marriage and make an honest woman of you. It's ridiculous.
And, I don't even, and I get what you're saying, like demand. I'm not going to demand no man make me an honest woman, because I want you to do that, right? I want you to, see value enough in me to say, hey, you know what? I want to make her my wife. And if you don't just be trying to use me. You know what I mean? Because they say men know, relatively quick whether they want to be with a woman and spend the rest of their life with her or not, like that. But I'm just putting the onus on women, especially because we do have a lot of say-so. And I know there's not a lot of the ratio to men and women. It's more women than there are men. So I get it. Sometimes it could be a little bit on the desperate side. Well, I better just settle down with anybody. Let me give him all he can handle. And then eventually he going to just decide he wants to marry me. No, that's not how that works. You need to put some pressure to that brother. And as Honorable Louis Farrakhan says, a man will not know that he is that until he takes on a wife. Because a wife, I'm not saying nagging, she going to put some demands on you. She going to put it to you to where you have to man up. But unfortunately, with some men, not all, they're not put to the test because women are afraid that I'm going to run him off. Honestly, I've been to some job interviews or whatever where they give me all these tough scenarios and these hard scenarios. Like when I was going to be a correctional officer back in the 90s. And they were telling me all these horror stories. And I was like, wow. He says, what we're trying to do is scare you off. Because we want people to do this job who are aware of everything and still say, you know what, I can do it. So you want to tell that man, listen, honey, I am a woman, worth my weight is one. And the only way you getting the goods is if we walking down the aisle. Okay, I want to be Mrs. Whoever. That's who I have to be. But you cannot test the goods. And all of that, and then let me come to a decision. If I hell no, you know what I mean. So that's up to us. We do have a lot of say so, and if he says no to that, then get on up the road, Buster. There's a lot of women who will let you do any and everything to her because she think, her allowing you to do that is going to eventually make you want to marry her. What I understand, most men already know that. It don't take no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You hopping up in it. And listen, I'm not coming to y'all from a place of I've always been this way. I've been with a couple of jokers who, said they was trying to be married and all that other stuff, and it didn't pan out. So I'm not coming to y'all from a point of I'm just deity. I ain't been with a lot of men. I do want to say that, okay? But what I'm saying is I've learned from experience that acquiescing to a man and everything that he wants from you because you are afraid that he ain't gonna want to stick around, that don't work. It just does not work. And my mom used to always say, a woman's got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the prince. And I like to add this onto it. She said, kiss, not screw. Okay, kiss a lot of frogs, and that's not literal, but You got to kind of go through the courting process of, okay, that sounds good. That's wonderful and everything. Okay, so let me ask you this. And this has to be on the first date. What's your end game with me? Or are you looking for that? Are you what are we doing here? Now, if he get to him and Han, well, that's kind of too soon to be asking me yet. I don't know. Then you finish your date or whatever it is you're doing to say, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. It's been a wonderful evening, but I cannot entertain you anymore because you are not sure of what you're trying to do with me. Right? I'm just trying to help somebody because I know there's somebody in that situation, and there's a lot of shaky men out there who just, I don't know. See, I'm shut up before I get in trouble. Let me get in these comment sections because I'm about to say too much. Let's see here. Hello, love. How you doing? It says we are giving a hard 18 years to a man for free and forcing someone to marry is better than a hard 18 single. Yeah. So when I say force, I mean, that man, that's got to be his decision. You put it out there. I want to be married. And if he says, well, what happened was, you might find a woman who's on the same page. I don't care. We just hanging out doing whatever. That's cool, But if you are a man or a woman and you want to be with somebody for the rest of your life and be married, don't waste time with people who don't want that. Don't do that. It's a waste of time.
Demetria, how many of your exes look back on you and call you back and say, oh, I made a mistake. I wish I can go back. Hey, could you give me another chance? Blah, 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 blah. And that's the folly of a lot of men. We have good women. And because we're young, greedy, stupid, whatever it is, we let that good woman go. And for some reason, when you women leave us or we leave you, whatever the situation is, you guys always look better with somebody else. You know what I mean? You look like, damn,
listen, boo-boo, you can believe that, okay? We always look better with somebody else, And I would say most of my exes, I wanted to come back, and I was like, nah, sucker, I know what it is with you. You know what I mean? And when a person, I say this, okay, in my situation, I've been cheated on by every man that I've been with, except for my high school sweetheart. I'm just being real honest with you. And I don't know why. I guess there's some credence to what Black America was saying as far as lacking discipline. I think a lot of it too is that fear of missing out. Oh, well, she's cute. I want to see what that's like. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just weak, I would say. But yeah, most of them have regretted it. And say all of them have said that I am a good woman and I did not deserve what they did or whatever. But I want to say this, that I am a good woman. Now, I know a lot of people say I'm a good woman, but I truly am a good woman, But I also think of some of the wise women and the stuff that they would say, like my daughter's grandmother. She says, I wouldn't buy a man a Pepsi Cola. It's like, damn. What she was saying is, don't do nothing for these men. That these men, you have them do all the doing. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I kind of get where she was going because she's like, when you're too nice to these men, then they go off and they do you dirty. And that's why I was telling Donovan earlier on our podcast, y'all, a lot of men do like women who ain't, who aren't good to them, talk to them crazy, disrespectful, and all that other. They like women like that. But when it comes to a good woman, I just think, and I always say this too, water seeks his own level, and so do people. So if a man is not used to being with a good woman, he's used to being with a woman. And that's another thing. This is for men and women. Y'all got to start having those conversations with somebody you may be with. All right, what's going on with your ex? Why aren't y'all together? What was your exes like? Were they, this, that, and the other? Now, if they're used to being with a woman who is not kind to them, won't cook or, do any of that kind of stuff, and that's their track record, then I'm going to tell you, if you're a good woman, you might want to pass that man by because he doesn't know what that's like. He can't appreciate a good woman that is going to be kind to him, not talking to him crazy and, you ain't my daddy and all that. There's a lot of men who just like women like that. They stick with that type of woman And maybe it's fear. I don't know. So a lot of times when I hear men say, I want a feminine woman, I want a traditional woman, it's like, do you really? Because I want to know how many traditional women you've had and you didn't do her right. I wonder about that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few of them that all of them have regretted it. But you're right. We do look better when we with somebody else. You know what I mean? Because now, the problem is though, because that man knows that the man that she's with is getting all those benefits that he used to get and that he didn't appreciate. He knows that. And he knows that she's a good woman. She was a good woman to him. She's going to be a good woman to the other man. And probably the woman he with, ain't doing none of that.
I'm looking at the chat right now and reading some of the ladies in there, and a lot of them can identify with the fact of wasting a few years with the man and nothing came of it, So and it's really unfortunate, ladies. But that also brings another question that I have for the ladies. Why is it? And maybe it's just the trend of the ladies. Why is it that the ladies can't detect? And maybe that's how we're programmed. Men are programmed to do a certain thing. Women are programmed to do a certain thing. Why is it that ladies can't detect the BS when these guys, keep coming with it? Because I know we come with it good, but a lot of you women are very intelligent, but even the intelligent women still fall for the BS.
It's not that we can't detect the BS, because a lot of times people send their representative. They tell you, oh, this, that, and the other. Yes, this, I'm this, that. Like I told y'all back in the day in my early 20s, I was with a guy who told me he was a teacher, but he was really the crossing guard at the damn school. You know what I mean? It's like, why couldn't you just say that? So I hear that question posed to women a lot. Why y'all can't detect it? But the other thing I asked is, why can't y'all just be what you say you are? Why can't you just be a good man? Because I hear a lot of men saying, oh, where the good women at? And I say, here we are. We're here. But we ain't in the dating market no more, because for one thing, the dating streets is trash. We're not trying to be out there. Listen, once you suffered a broken heart more than once, you're not trying to jump out there and have that happen to you again, And I keep it real with y'all. My last relationship, Donovan would tell you, he poured it on real thick. Like he is the last person on earth that I thought that would cheat. He just was. I never thought he would. Never. When I say never, I would have bet that I find a pot of gold at a rainbow, the end of a rainbow, before that happened. So that was devastating to me that happened to me. I mean, it just was. I couldn't believe it. Plus, I moved from California to be with him as my fiance, so we were going to build a life together. And no sooner than I was out here, things started to change. I felt like I was at one point walking on eggshells, because I'm like, damn, what's going on? Something like just shifted. And, he told me via a text, I don't want to be with you no more. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm out looking for houses because we were trying to buy a house and stuff. He was at work and stuff. And he sends me that text, and I'm like, excuse me? Now, I'm like, what, thinking I did something. He's, oh, it's not you. It's just, this and it's that, and trying to really just, just get myself right. Just a bunch of just nonsense. Just a bunch of nonsense. Then, of course, you have your little spidey senses like, something ain't right here. Because I've been here before, like Tina Marie. I've been here before,
Deja vu. Yes.
I've been here before, but, still me thinking, nah, he ain't never going to do nothing like that to me. This is not just who he is. So then sooner or later, after we move, and, I get my own spot, he get his own spot. Mind you, I ain't from Texas. I'm a California girl, but I stay out here nevertheless. No sooner than I try to get acclimated in my house, I'm getting my mind back right, because what happened to me was very devastating, Then no sooner than that, the chick inboxes me and says, I'm with your man now. What? What you say now here? What you say? So Now I'm not, never mind me dealing with the devastation of being, just discarded. Like when I tell you this man he did me so wrong. When I tell you when I discarded, now I'm dealing with the reality. I'm dealing with a different reality. I'm dealing with a reality that, what I thought wasn't the case is the case. And I kind of have my suspicions about her because she would be like stalking me on different things. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with this? Oh, I don't know. It's not, I don't know, all this other stuff. So, it was confirmed to me that that's what was going on. And so it's like, this is why I have an issue with cheating, because it causes unnecessary trauma. When I tell you, listen, I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but that was pretty traumatizing. It was traumatizing to the point, because I know a lot of people who saw, our relationship and stuff, they're probably wondering what happened. And I just think, I always knew I was going to tell my story, because I was left holding a lot of grief, with that. And so, I have to go to therapy. I was driven to therapy behind that because I was stuck. I was really stuck. And I told y'all, I was really stuck. I couldn't figure out what I did to deserve that. You know what I mean? And when I went to therapy, it was like an emergency type of thing, because my daughter was like, you got to talk to somebody. Because I was to the point where I remember the day that I went and got therapy. I was calling him because I was just, still trying to figure out like what happened, what did I do? And he was just so cold and callous to me. Oh, just pick up the pieces. You got to stop calling me. You got to move on. I mean, it was just like a heckle and what is it? The
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde type of thing. I'm like, who is this man? So I walked into the house and I stood in my room because my daughter was in my room, and I was just shaking, and I was crying, and she says, Mom, you got to talk to somebody. She says, I've never seen you like this. And I said, you're right. And so I gave her my medical information. I, knew of a therapy line that I can go to, and she dialed the number for me, and I just slumped on my floor, and I had my back against the wall. And as I'm talking to the lady, I'm like, and she's like, dude, take your time. Whatever it is you need, I'm going to be here until we finish this call. And I told her I'm in need of some therapy. I'm stuck. And a couple of days later, I had a therapy session with the lady. She was a cool lady. And she asked me what happened. I'm because it was online bawling, and I'm crying, and I'm just, going through the motions. And even her, like when you go to a therapist, usually they're pretty stoic. They're like, this lady came out of character when I was telling her some stuff. She says, what? She said, what? I said, yeah, yes, that's what happened. And she says, oh, wow. Then she got back into character. And she told me to read this book called The Four Agreements, which is weird because I had read it before by, his name escapes me. But she told me to read the book. And when I read the book, it helped me a lot, because it basically said, don't take things personal. When people do things that are unkind to you, it's not necessarily a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them, right? So it kind of gave me a lot of clarity. And when I tell you I had to keep reading certain things in that book, because, and I know I'm speaking for a lot of people, because I'm one of those people, I try to tell my stories to help people. But when something like that happens to you, it's hard to move on, because you can't make sense of things. Like it just doesn't make sense. And you do take it personally, because you're like, what did I do? And then you go on, because like somebody like me who has been cheated on by everybody that I've been with, you do have a lot of self-doubt. Like, am I a bad person? Am I unworthy? Like, was I a cricket or a roach in my past life? What did I do? And so you have to unlearn those traumas, and you have to like do a lot of, and I to this day, I have to have those conversations with myself, because I tell you guys a lot, where I moved to, I'm not from here. My whole family is in California. So every day it's a reminder of what happened to me. And I have to have a lot of self-talk and really just kind of continue to validate myself, because that's really what's important, is to validate yourself. But I know it's hard. I know it's hard when somebody does that to you. Listen, I'm not telling y'all this story to demonize him or anything like that. A lot of you guys, know who he is. And the other thing too is what hurts too is that when somebody does that to you and they move on and they keep moving on and they move on with this person and that person is like, wow, so I really meant nothing to you, huh? It was that easy for you to do that to me. And again, I'm not saying to take it personal, but you do think of that. It was that easy for you to move on and pretend like you're this wonderful guy. And I don't know, maybe he's a changed guy. Maybe he'll be a better person to the person he's with. But, and then also what hurts is when you see that person big up black women all day. I love black women. Black women are this, black women are that. Oh, black women are queens and black women are this. But it's like the black woman you was with, you treated like crap. The black woman you was with you didn't have any respect for. You know what I mean? So that's why too, I've learned a lot. In these last couple of years, I've learned a whole lot.
That's right. You listen to your family and your friend Donovan. When I tell you don't move, don't move.
Right. Yeah. Donovan. And, Donovan's my dear good friend. And he was taken aback too. He couldn't believe it. He was like, huh? He says, how do you move a woman where you are? Y'all gonna get married and build a life and just drop her like that? And my family too, and a lot of my friends. And my dad was like, it took me a while to tell my dad, and my sister knew, which I kind of think she probably told him. But it took me a while to tell my dad, because this man went to my father and asked for my hand in marriage. He says, if for whatever reason we don't make it, I'm gonna send her back to you unharmed and all this other stuff, just bullshit, if you ask me at this point.
See, but that's another thing. When people say stuff like that, if we don't make it, that means you already have doubt. That would have been a clue to me, like, hey, this motherfucker's already got doubt here. Something's going down, So I don't know.
But, but my dad, it took me a while to tell my dad, because I just didn't want, to have a conversation with him, because my dad loves me dearly. He loves all his children dearly, but he loves me. And I didn't want him to be hurt. And when I told him, he says, why? What happened? And I said, because at the time I really didn't know, right? I didn't know that he was cheating on me. I said, I don't know. Daddy, I don't know. I really can't tell you what happened. And he says, you need to come back. Bring yourself back home. And I was like, you know what, Daddy? I'm just going to stay here. Just kind of want to sort some things out, that kind of thing. He says, no, you need to come back. And, he was devastated for me. I think that's what it is. You think your daughter's going to go off and,
he did call me up and talk about regulators.
And Brother Sammy, how you doing? It says you are definitely not unworthy. You know what that man Jesus went through, and he was definitely not worthy. Your test is indeed becoming your testimony. Yeah. And I really believe that. I truly, truly believe that. And I would say this too, for me, I think that one of the most devastating parts of it was the humiliation. I was very humiliated. Like, oh my God. We had this public a relationship, which being in public is not really my thing, but it was his thing. And those of you guys know who he is, and y'all follow us on social media. I was very humiliated that he did that to me, because he likes to say, well, when we broke up, and I say, we didn't break up. You dumped me. you dumped me and you left me destitute. No, I wasn't destitute because listen, one
A
thing I know
breakup is mutual. A breakup is a mutual.
yeah, breakup is mutual. It was not mutual. It was, and then I had my daughter who was like, huh? What? And it was devastating for me because I was like, now I got to show my daughter who is, trying to be in a relationship with some man somewhere. Now she gets to see her mom deal with the trauma, and my daughter really loved him. And so when that happened, she ascertained it to be, well, damn, he didn't give a damn about me either, And Turner, you say, Sister Mitra, all of this has prepared you for the man that Allah is shaping and molding specifically for you and specifically for him. Courtship is the next time around should be mandatory. I totally agree. And that's why I said, I tell y'all my testimony, because for what y'all want to know who he is. See, most of y'all know who he is. I won't say his name because maybe he's, a different person. I don't know. But I tell y'all my testimony because for one, it's freeing for me because for a while I was holding on to it, trying to pretend, okay, maybe if I don't say nothing, people they won't know. They're just kind of gloss over the fact that she's single now, But telling you gotta listen. I'm gonna tell y'all, as painful as it is, sometimes y'all gotta start telling y'all story. Maybe you won't tell your story right away because you're dealing with it. But you got to start telling your story because it is freeing. It's cathartic, right? It makes you feel better to tell somebody. And I'm telling y'all because to get it out. And I'm telling y'all so that maybe it doesn't happen to you. But I would tell y'all this. God is not asleep and neither is karma. And I always say this. God loves me and God was not pleased with what happened to me. And I'm going to just leave it at that, because you can't do that to people and then think, oh, I'm just going to go off and have a good life. You don't get to benefit from that. And Brother Sam, you say, also the Bible says, think in good God things. Don't let the thoughts of what's wrong with me creep into your mind. The very thought has an attractive energy. You're right about that. I have a pretty good, I would say I have a good, healthy self-esteem, but somebody does that to you. It does, it rocks you to the core. George Jefferstein say, damn dude on the right looks like my uncle. My mom doesn't invite to my family parties. Okay. All right. Perry, you say, it looks like to me that's his loss on him dumping you. Yes, I've had a lot of people say that to me, that it was his loss. And I totally believe that now. How you doing, JBWR? He says, I'm at the gym. I refuse to miss the stream. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to miss you guys' comments. I'm just running my mouth. And Angela says, if he didn't do it to you, Demetri, he would have done the same thing to another good woman. And there's no doubt that he hasn't. I think that's just who he is. He's just, one of those people. And that's why I said a lot of people, even in their older age, they are immature, just jumping from here to there because you're not sad. You see, people like that, they're not satisfied with themselves. So they think, Jason, you crazy. They're not satisfied with themselves. So they try to go find satisfaction outside of themselves, right? They think another person is going to bring them happiness. That's never the case. Another person is a happiness enhancement. You got to bring happiness to yourself, right? You got to already be that. But I just think that's kind of what he suffers from. He doesn't know what he wants. He knows what he wants at the moment, but something tells me that's kind of probably how he got down. I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy anymore, or some other woman is showing me attention, and so that's where I'm gonna go. He's like a grasshopper, right? He's hopping here and there and everywhere, and you don't want to be with somebody like that.
Well, especially when the thing that you brought to the table to enhance him. I don't know what you got out of the deal other than, whatever you got. But I mean, what you brought to him and the knowledge you brought to him and the things that helped him out, it was almost like he got what he needed, and he was done. And he said, "Okay, I've got what I needed. I'm out of here."
Yeah, and I tell them all the time, all that wokeness you got, you didn't have that before you got with me, which is kind of the problem too. You didn't know nothing past Martin Luther King, But when you met me, because see, that's the type of person I am. I'm gonna impart knowledge on anybody that I'm with, because I think we should be on the same page. I brought all that Black consciousness to you, boo-boo. You know what I mean? And I tell them that too. That don't get up here and get brand new like you was always knowing this. You wasn't that before you met me. So I enhanced you, brother. I made you aware of who you are, and then I would see sometimes he would, go on and on post into these, rattling stuff off like it's an original thought to him, Black women is Black women. That's like, man, you ought to really be ashamed of yourself. Because like I said, the best way to love Black women is to treat a Black woman right. You don't go around traumatizing Black women because you need attention, and then you trying to have yourself satisfied, and you don't traumatize Black women by doing that. You respect Black women, and then you also have the wearing thought to say, hey, you don't do it for me no more, baby. I'm gonna move on. You don't do that to a Black woman. And Brother Samuel say, as far as your daughter, the positive side is it takes the pressure off her to be perfect. My dad says everybody makes mistakes. That's why they have erasers on pencils, so it teaches how in a comment cut out. But yeah, I agree. People make mistakes, and I give them that. But I would just never want those type of people to do that to somebody. If I didn't want to be with you, I'm just not going to be with you. But I'm not going to cheat on you.
But let me ask you this: so since that situation happened, your mantra is you're against Black men, and Black men ain't ish.
No,
why not? He did you that way, and yet you still have faith that a Black man is going to do right. You're not going to divest. You're not going to do any of that.
Because all Black men did not do that to me. I'm wise enough to know that all Black men did not do that to me. It was, some Black men that did that to me. And Lady Blue, I'm like you. You says my testimony is a movie or a series in the books. Does anyone have a network or connection? Yeah, we need to both of us maybe hit up Tyler Perry or Tubi or somebody. I'm telling you, the story.
No, we need to make our own network. We don't need them. We can make our own network.
And Albie, you're right. It is more of a woman trait. I need attention and all of that other stuff. And Andre says, 3-point program: love the Lord, love your neighbor, love yourself. You got to love yourself first, right? And hello, love you says, don't show him nothing, let him show you. Mm-hmm. And Cecilia says, Demetri, giving you game on protecting yourself, it's up to you to listen. Yeah. And I'm just telling y'all what I know, what I've been through. I don't wish what I went through on my worst enemy, because self-doubt, self-doubt is pretty bad, to wonder, am I good enough? What did I do? And, all this other stuff. And I'm not one of those people even to say that all men cheat, because I haven't been with all men. But I just say all men that I've been with cheated on me, but I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe, I don't know. But I do intend to be a little bit more selective. And, Donovan always tells me, you got to get out there. You got to get out there. Put yourself out there. Listen, I ain't going to put myself out there nowhere. As somebody said, Turner, I think it was you, you're supposed to let a man find you. And that's what it is. I'm gonna let a man find me. I'm not out there
find you if you're stuck inside your house.
I go out occasionally, and I go to museums and things. I like to do stuff. I'm a cultured woman, right? So if I ain't gonna find that man there, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna find him in no bar, no nightclub, because I don't do that. And I know he probably gonna be there the next week looking for the same thing, but I'm patient. Like I tell Donovan, it is JBWR. It is brutal out there. But Donovan says, put yourself out there. You just got to put yourself out. Listen, I go out. I'm cute and all that when I go out and have conversations with people. But I'm like I said, I'm just happy to be here. I'm not really out there trying to, because listen, when you're desperate, then you get the things that desperation that comes with desperation. I'm not desperate. Y'all see me working out. I'm getting finer and finer by the day. When I'm 70, I'm going to be fine. If that's how long it takes for me to get, a man that's going to treat me right, that's going to be respectful, not going to creep and cheat and you know, and value social media more than he does his relationship. If it takes me till I'm 70 to do that, then so be it.
Demetria, how does this sound? Demetria Hasagawa.
Who?
Demetria Hasagawa.
And what was that?
You're going to go to Japan, meet the love of your life. Next thing you know, it is what it is.
I don't know about all of that. Unless there's a brother over there that's, you know, abroad and he's doing his thing and all of that. But no, yeah, Brother Sammy, I think so too. That's beautiful maturity. I still have faith in black men because all black men didn't do this to me. And I want to say that to women because sometimes we do get very jaded, right? Black men, black men, black men. But it's not all black men. There's some good brothers out there that will not do those things. They just have respect for you. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. I sleep good at night. Okay, I really do. Because I'm not wondering who he talking to, who he texting. This woman and said got a little too cute and fresh on your timeline. And I don't have those worries. You know what I mean? And I value my sleep and my peace. I really do. Because I think that everybody deserves to be with somebody that they ain't got to worry about what they doing behind their back. And when I don't want those struggles. I'm just keeping it real with you. I don't want those struggles. So the person that I am with, he's got the, you know, y'all hear a lot of men say, yeah, woman got to bring you peace. Well, you got to bring me some peace too. We both got to be bringing each other peace. Because together we bring peace. You know? So, Queen of Spades, how you doing? Says, do you do your own hair? Your hair is always fly. I do what my daughter does. My daughter braided it for me, and I did the twist. Originally, I was going to take it out and have it, you know, but the way this weather set up. So, yeah, I do my own hair. I was having it done by the African sisters, but they didn't. So, I ain't trying to be like that, okay? So, yeah. Let's see here. JBWR says, do you think that if you wait too long, you might be too set in your ways? No, because I'm wise enough to know that it's not all men. And I don't know if I'm set in my ways. I do have standards, especially now, especially all that I've been through. I have standards that maybe I didn't have before, you know, and I would tell you this, no shade to him, but I've had a lot of people say he was not on your level. I wondered what, you know, he was all right, but he wasn't on your level, you know. And I know when that sounds, you say stuff like that, it sounds condescending. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, some people said it. Maybe they just kind of were mad that I was hurt and said he wasn't on your level. No way, you know. You know, I don't know, but I'm not gonna be set in my ways. I'm always gonna be anybody who knows me tell you that I'm very kind. I'm loving. I will help you sometimes to a fault. And I want the best for everybody. And so I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm one of those people. And even he would tell you that when I'm in a relationship, I'm a good woman. You're not gonna want for nothing. I'm not talking to you crazy all through the house. And you know, I'm just not. I try to bring you peace because I want peace. So I think I'm an all right person. So I don't know how I would be. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my auction going on again. Donovan is a handsome, attractive man. Yes, Donovan, he do all right. Hello Love says African sisters be messing me up too. Yeah, they a little heavy-handed. Miss White, he says I hope you meet Mr. Right. Now you deserve it, and I hope that for everybody. I hope everybody meets Mr. or Mrs. Right, the person who's going to sweep them off their feet. And yeah, I do. Cause I believe in love. I'm not one of those people that's single. I'm single for the rest of my life. The hell no. I ain't trying to be single for the rest of my life. I'm trying to be with somebody. We could take some trips, be booed up, you know, whatever. Then you talk about world affairs, because I'm kind of corny like that. I like to talk about I like to have some deep conversations. I want to find somebody that we are at least on the same street, you know? So I wish that for everybody. I wish true love and happiness for everybody, except for the cheaters out there. I hope they get exactly what they put out there. Now that's a little mean, but y'all get the point. So anyway, I do love and appreciate. Let me see, let me put this comment up here. Enlightened, you say, sister, when you are happy and content with yourself, you send out good vibes, especially if they see you have a smile on your face. And I will say that's the case. You know, now before when this first happened to me, oh no, I was just, trying to fake it. But I was going through it. I really was.
On the show, she broke down on the show. Everybody was like, Donovan, do something. I said, no, she'll be all right. She's got to break down. She's got to break down.
And that particular show, I put it on private because I was doing too much. My brother was on the show as well. It was Donovan and my brother on the show, and it kind of had just happened. And I don't even know how I started talking about it, but when I did, it was just bad. I had to click up off of here because I was, and my brother.
Yeah, if I remember, it was a word or something like triggered you. And
it was like something. And, my brother, my brother, I always tell people he was my first friend that I've ever had outside of my mom and dad. My older brother, Walter, who comes on here, and he didn't know what to say. And he would just said, gosh, like, what happened? Why? And every once in a while, he would say, has he come to his senses yet? Has he come to his senses yet? And Donovan would ask me the same thing. Nope. He hasn't come to his senses. And I'm like, I'm not going to lose no sleep over it or whatever. Even my best friend, Ed, he was like, he still ain't came to his senses because these people know me to be a good woman. I'm like, no, he ain't came to his senses, but that's all right. Whoever I do get with, we gonna do some stuff. We gonna have a hell of a life together. That I do know. So, LB says, I don't want to be single. No, I ain't about trying to be single. Check this out. Yeah, Walter's my biological brother. He is my older brother.
Look at their eyes. You can tell by the eyes.
Yeah, that's my Donovan is a real friend because Donovan has seen me go through a lot of stuff. Man, Donovan saw me go through my divorce. Donovan, you got 5 more minutes. You got 5. Listen, back in the day, okay, I had a husband. 10 months we were married, but we were together for like 5 years, and that should have taught me a lesson. It didn't. But when I came to my senses, I moseyed myself on back to California. My sister, who's in Florida, on her Christmas break, she says, pack up, because he was a truck driver. Says, pack up the house. You leaving. The lease was up for the apartment. She says, on my Christmas break, I'm taking a flight out there and we're going to drive you back home. And she did. Because my ex-husband was a trick. Oh my God, he was a trick. He was a trick, So I get back home and I'm going through it because I didn't have anything. I was working on my 2nd degree and it was just bad, And I was going to school, ended up cleaning houses. Like I didn't have no car. I never been like that down before because, I kind of relied on him for a lot of stuff. And when I got back, I had bought my daughter a car before I left. All we had is her car. One day the car got stolen and I was with Donovan because we were doing a show at his house and Donovan gave me a ride back home and my daughter called and says she loaned it to my nephew and she had a Honda, so they liked those cars, and she called me, my car was stolen. And I just had a moment. I was broke down. Donovan was like, see, Donovan's a military man. He don't show no emotions. But I was in the passenger seat. I was like, I can't take it no more. I just had all I could take. Nevertheless, we found the car, whatever. But Donovan, he just sat there and he didn't say nothing. But I could tell, he sympathized with me. But Donovan had seen me at my lowest. He saw me. I had to come home and start over, and had that happen to me because the same thing that happened to me once before. With my ex-husband, I was here in Texas, and he just didn't do me right, and that's when my sister was like, "We coming to get you." My mama, R.I.P. She said to me, and I'm finna get emotional. Oh my God, because my mom's not here no more. But she said to me, she says, because she didn't know that I was going through what I was going through, and so when I finally told her, She says, I'm gonna send you some money because I didn't have any, like it was bad, you know. And with the money that I did have, I had to pay, you know, all the bills and stuff. It was a mess. So my mom said to me, she says, I'm gonna send you some money, get the tires, get the oil change. Let's, you know, my sister, she was like, don't worry about gas, don't worry about nothing, just pack up the house, put everything you got that we could fit in that car, in this car. And my mom, you know, she was like, come home, you know, we'll figure it out. We're gonna make sure you get back on your feet. And when I did, you know. So
Demetra is always like a phoenix. She rises from the ashes every time. It's just got to give her time. Got to give her time because, you know, she has to figure it out for herself. But she always rises.
yeah, but you know, and I do. You know, I'm tough. And it's funny because I was telling my daughter this the other day. They usually say people who have a high threshold for pain, you can't take any more pain. You know, that's it. Any more pain is like, I'm gonna die, you know. So people who are tough, and I'm tough. Anybody know you tell me I'm tough? I come out swinging. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. When I'm like down at my worst, I come out swinging, and I just like, I gotta do better. But tough people, and for my tough people out there, y'all know how hard it is to continue being tough. It's hard because life is asking you to give, like just give some more, overcome. Now, so I went back to California. I got into shape. I became a vegan, and I was good. Like I said, I was good. 3 years had passed by, and then this last one came along, and it took me a while for me to even entertain him. And I said, okay. And then, 6 years later, same thing happened to me. But at this time, my mom had passed away, and, all that. And this almost the same thing. And I'm like, man, you knew what I've been through. I told you. And you did and it was worse because I told you what happened to me. Now, this time around, my mom ain't raised no fool. I was doing all right financially. And this is why I want to bring Brother Phil into the situation, because I have moved out here. I had some income and some stuff I was doing, but I reached out to him and I was like, hey, if you ever need a contributor, I can do it. And that's how I ended up on the African Diaspora News channel. And everything has been great. And I've been, really doing well financially. And I say that about Brother Phil, because he gave me an opportunity to really expand upon my gift. And I do, we do well at the African Diaspora News channel. We're paid very well for our work. So I wasn't in the same situation before, where I was broke. I didn't have nothing. I was like, it ain't gonna be me. So I would say that made it a little easier. But what I was really saying, Phil is a good man. And that's why I say, anybody who ever says that Brother Phil don't like black women, that's a lie. Y'all go look on his channel. He got nothing but black women working for him. And he is putting food on the table and money in the bank for a lot of black women that, other people, we wouldn't ordinarily have these opportunities to do that. So, I love Brother Phil for that, him and his wife, because, they really do look out for us. So, but I was really saying about Donovan. Donovan has really been a good friend. He has really, been there and saw me at my worst, and he's very encouraging, which is why we're doing what we're doing now. Because Donovan is like, you got to stop playing small. And one thing I would say about Donovan, he's a lot of things. But one thing about Donovan, when this man say he gonna do something, Donovan is going to do it. He is going to do it. I tell y'all, this man got 12 degrees, like real. Now I ain't talking about no Acme Academy degrees. This man got 12 degrees, And so Donovan is what they always tell you to surround yourself around people who are doing stuff. Donovan is that one of those people for me. When I was doing bad, Donovan was doing awesome and all of that. And I just followed his lead. I was like, damn, this man, he does what he wants. He does what he say he's going to do. So Donovan was a great example for me. And I know that a lot of times God put people in your life for a reason. And Donovan we've known each other for over 30 years, but Donovan was gone for a good 24 years because he was in the military, 16 tours of duty all over the world. So it was just perfect timing. Donovan retired in 2014. I got back to California in 2014 and we reconnected because he was running for public office. And I said, hey, you looking for a campaign manager? He says, well, yeah. So I was his campaign manager, and honestly, a lot of opportunities that I got in California.
And it was a bad combination, you guys. Let me tell you, it was like, you guys don't see what's going on between me and her. I hired her, right? And we're just fighting the whole time. She's telling me what to do. I'm like, that ain't gonna work. And we're just going at it. It was a nightmare. But I asserted myself because I said, look, I'm the boss. You advise me. And, you know, we did what we did. And it worked out. It did work out.
You know, and your niece says, that's my uncle. He is a good man. But, you know, Donovan, he actually opened the door for me to have a lot of opportunities in California, because when I became his campaign manager, I became campaign managers for other people. And that was because I was Donovan's campaign manager. And I got a lot of opportunities to get in there and, you know, really make some money for myself and get, you know, just really get my name out there. So that was because of Donovan. And I know a lot of times people say Donovan don't like Black women. Donovan helps a lot of Black women. He does. He got a
that's not true. A lot of people that don't know the story, that is not true. I may perceive that I don't like Black women. That's where you perceive me, but that's not true.
Yeah, and how you doing, Kiki? He says, me too. I'm over here bawling my eyes. You know, I'm a G. I don't like to cry. Sometimes I do. He says, I so understand her story. It's rough being a good woman, and it's like for some reason you end up with men who don't appreciate it. Has you wondering about things. Yeah, it does. You know, and I know that happens to men too. Y'all get cheated on. You give you all the women, and they go and they do you dirty, and they discard you like you ain't nothing. And you know that's hard. You know. So anyway, I didn't mean to make you guys sad. But when I think about my mama, you know, and I'm glad she's not, because my mom, she was here when we got together, and she was like, okay, because one of the things that my mom said to me before she passed is, don't end up single like me. My mom had been through a lot, you know, and she said, I put up a guard because I didn't want to get hurt anymore. And she says, I don't want that for you. So she says, I want you to, you know, get with somebody, a good man, and y'all, you know, make a good life together. And so when my mom left out of here, she assumed that's what I was with. You know.
So wait. Did she have that talk with Amanda?
Yes, she has. But
what the hell?
You got to shoot your shot, brother. You got to really shoot your shot. Hello, Kevin. How you doing? And Perry says, you, Donovan, Phil are good people, Demetra, and that's real. Yeah, they good people. You know, I try not to hang out with people who aren't good people. But yeah, my mom was here. And so that when I talk about my mom, you know, for a whole host of reasons, she passed away of cancer in 2016, which is the year that I met him. You know, my mom, that made it worse because I was like, my mom would know what to say. She would know what to tell me. She'd give me that, oh, the Black is beauty. I saw your comment. Why don't y'all date? I would murk Donovan in his sleep. I would put a pillow over his face. And
would not work. We were like Ike and Tina, will not work because, like I said, what the problem is, and it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
No, you know, Donovan and I have never thought about dating. Donovan and we're really good friends. We are complete opposites. I would smother him in his sleep. His legs and arms would be flailing till they couldn't flail no more. And I was saying, I don't know what happened to him, officer. I just think he's old.
And then I have a cat that loves this woman, and she won't return the love to him.
I don't like Tyler scratching my feet up, okay? I got some pretty nice looking feet. I won't keep them that way. Yeah, Kiki, I'd smother this sucker cold in his sleep, okay? Pass it off as it was just his time to go. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. We love and appreciate y'all.
But before we go, let's do a little cleanup here, you guys. Thanks for staying with us a little bit longer. And like I said, we need to have these conversations and these really heart-to-heart talks. So let you guys know we're real people too. You know, we're not perfect. We don't know everything, even though she thinks she does. We don't know everything, you know. But here's the thing. Sunday, Demetra, let them know. Are we doing a show Sunday? What are we doing?
Oh yeah, Sunday we're not gonna be here, but we'll be here tomorrow. So Donna, if you want to come in on tomorrow, I got lightheaded for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't eaten a lot. I'm trying not to eat a lot. Sunday we're going to Japan, going to Tokyo. We're gonna go visit Donovan's home. Y'all know that's where Donovan lived for a lot of his life. So we're gonna go take in the Japanese culture. To see how it goes. I was kind of apprehensive about going because, going to Japan wasn't something that I want to do, but Donovan wants to go home. So we decided we'll go. Donovan affords my daughter.
Wait. No. I didn't want to go home because I was supposed to jump and leave Hillary and flee to the DR and wait Hillary out. But I stayed here. Deanna wanted to go to Japan. So I said, yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah. She has ties to Japan because her dad was stationed on Okinawa. So.
Yeah, so we're going to Japan and we'll be back the next Sunday. We'll go live here and there throughout there. We're going to go to Disneyland. My daughter wants to visit every Disneyland in the world. So we're going to go there. We're just going to go at night. I don't care for Disneyland much, but the tickets were super cheap, $100 for all three of them. So you can't beat that. But I would say that, Donovan affords my daughter and I a trip once a year. We have since 2019, except for the pandemic where things kind of shut down. And we've been all over the world. It's a great time. You know what I'm looking forward to more than anything, going on a trip with Donovan. We have a good time with laughing and joking, but I love those heated debates between him and my daughter. Man, I'll be trying to act like I'm doing something, like I'm just looking out the window. And then I have to say, all right, enough. Time out. I think Donovan froze. I have to say time out because they really get into it. My daughter don't give this joker no passes at all, boy. They be going at it, but it's all in fun, But I really do enjoy spending, time with my homeboy and just getting to do a lot of stuff. But I want to address this, Mike. What's funny? You actually have one of my favorite horror movie characters, Michael Myers. Donovan, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do Dr. Loomis, because every time you do, I just lose it. But yeah, Michael, I have a Michael Myers doll. My little nephew bought me. I have some Michael Myers t-shirts. I'm weird, y'all. I love Michael Myers. Unless he come here and, But you say anyway, what also hurts is when someone tells you that somebody else in their past hurt them, cheated, etc. Then they turn around, do the same thing to you when you try to be a good one for them. Yep. That is my story.
And I just want to leave with this. And the reason why I do that is number one, me and Demetra are good friends and she's a good woman. So she deserves to travel in her old age and get around and stuff like that. But she has a daughter. One day her daughter is going to have a child. And this is what a lot of people don't know about me. And I know it seems like it's a duality. But the thing is, I believe in pouring into women because women will take that knowledge or that experience and pass it on to their children more so than men will do it. I wholeheartedly believe that. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's important that her daughter goes to as many places as she can while she's young. Because if she happens to get a man that's humbuggish and wants to stay in one spot, she already knows when her children will come to her and say, Mom, I want to go to this place. Deanna's going to know what to tell them, how to travel, how to do it, make sure you have this, do all that stuff like that. And I firmly believe that when you sow the seeds into the woman, that ensures our community grows its knowledge base. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And JBWR, it is my pleasure. Like I said, like Donovan said, we're real people. We're going to tell you our story.
Yes, and Speedos is coming out, Kiki. Yes, I always bring my Speedos. Yes, absolutely.
Let me get it over with now. So I don't have to see it. I'm going to on a plane like this. Sounds wonderful around here. Yes, it sounds. That's why I don't have to see it. Because I've seen the Speedos more times than I care to, But hey, I tell you what, it does attract the little mayonnaise women. They love Donovan in those Speedos, boy. Hey, you come around here often? Oh, really? So Donovan's, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So anyway, I'm always going to be honest with y'all and all that, but I love and appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you for everything that you do for this show, your donations, your likes, your comments. everything that y'all do. We could not do this without you. But I'll be back tomorrow with Walter, and I'm sure that'll be a riot in and of itself. But we'll keep y'all posted. So in the meantime, you guys have a great evening. Peace.